The whole childhood wonder stage just blew right past you, didn't it?
Look at the size of that whammer! Wham! Good sad.
Oh, Wham! Not the triple win.
Hello, my little chickies. Welcome once again to the glorious halls of Wham. That's right, you're in the halls of the Whamming King. Where, of course, you must bring forth the best whams you have and give them as supplicants to the Whamming King. What is the best wham you have? Can you gain favour from the King of the Whammers? I don't know. Let's find out. Speaking of such things, such wonderful, wonderful things to be presented before someone's eyes. Welcome to Wham, it's Andy Turnbull.
Hello, apologies if I sound a bit odd or start breaking in coughing fits. I've been struggling with a head cold for the last week. It has not been good. COVID has ruined my immune system.
Yeah. We're the same. The last time we had COVID, we ended up having a stomach bug 6 times over 8 months. Because we just kept reintroducing it to everybody.
Again, mostly working from home, but having to go to the office every so often. And I was at a wedding reception the other week, and I reckon that's where I got the cold from. Mm-hmm. I'm blaming someone else, because I was fine until then.
Well, I mean,
and hangovers don't last that long, not so.
Oh, I don't know. One of the reasons I stopped drinking was my hangover started lasting 2 days.
No, I've always been quite good on that front. Even as I reach my infirmed age that I am currently, I can still power through a hangover fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. Not that to be encouraged, it's because overindulging with booze is not big, it's not clever, it's just Scottish.
I've got a ton of jokes there.
But
I've got a ton of jokes from the old TFN days, which I'm going to just keep to myself, I think.
Yes.
Mostly because I'm the punchline in all of them. Anyhow. So, yes, welcome to Wham. We are into issue 19.
But not just issue 19.
No.
Because, if you remember when we were speculating when they announced that they were going to do Warhammer Monthly bi-weekly, I thought, are they going to do the six issues over the summer the way that Marvel and occasionally DC used to do in the early 90s? And then it appeared that they were just doing a one-off special with like a bumper installment of the Redeemer.
Mm-hmm.
And no, because we skipped ahead a little at the end of last, because for those that know, we did not hold the Redeemer in high regard.
No.
Or really in any regard, apart from the lovely art from Wayne Reynolds. Lovely
Yes.
art. However, what it turns out is they are going bi-weekly for the 3 months. You're getting 6 issues over 3 months. But what you're getting each month is you're getting a normal issue, an issue of the Redeemer, then next a normal issue, then an issue of the Redeemer. So, as we've talked about regularly on this, we try to be overwhelmingly positive, or where we can. And I think, as we can see, we didn't have a lot of good things to say about Redeemer, and we don't think that the direction of traffic is going to change unless Pat Mills pulls the 180 degrees Hail Mary of God. I don't see it coming, so what we're doing is you're actually getting 2 issues for the price of 1 with this issue. We are going to issue 19. We'll get the full wham. I can't do it because my throat's gone. I tried. Of all the days to try and do it, it will get the full wham treatment. Issue 19, as you would expect. But at the end of it, we will do the Redeemer issue 20.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think, and Adam is the same. We don't think there's any mileage for you guys listening to us bitch about something for an hour and a half, and to be honest, I don't think we could stretch it that long without just descending into swear words and ranting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
In between that, we normally have something vaguely useful and insightful to say. I don't think we'd have any of that now, because we kind of got that out of the way in the last episode.
Yeah, 100%. One of the main things I try to do here is I try not to look ahead, because I want to experience every issue as close to being for the first time as I can, because I haven't read these in 20 odd years. So I try not to look ahead at the next issue. I look at the coming next issue part, but I never actually look at the next issue until it's time to read it. And when we realised that this was the case, I did look ahead for a change, and I went through Redeemer 2 and 3. And I went round and round and round in circles on this one. It's like, is it best to try and do it? maybe do just shorter episodes, maybe combine the two into one episode, and even doing that, combining the two together into a single episode by themselves, I don't think there's enough there for us to be able to talk about anything. And yeah, so the best thing I felt to do would be, we'll just combine them. So you get 19 and 20 for this issue, and then we'll get 21 and 22 for the next one, and then 23 will be back to normal. Yep. There's the look behind the curtain at the great and powerful Wham.
Yeah.
Any artists out there, please draw me the Wizard of Wham. I desperately want to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see, there's no mileage. It would be we wouldn't enjoy it, and if we're not enjoying it, we can't see how anyone listening to it would enjoy it. So
it's not worth it. It's not worth just getting it out there for the number. It's absolutely not worth it.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, then we are looking at issue 19, cover dated at August 1999. I don't know where April came from. The cover is Malice Darkblade by Simon Davis. As always, editors Andy Jones and Mark Gascoigne, and production by Warwick Kinraid and Ian Pickstock. And I really like this cover, Andy.
I love the Simon Davis, or SB Davis as he kind of was. It was SB Davis then to Simon Davis as he moved on. I've always liked his work since he started in 2000 AD. Kind of Missionary Man was kind of where I first spotted him, but I don't necessarily think that was his first stuff. But 2000 AD tended to let him get to the more sort of horror-y stuff, or out there, hence why I was with Missionary Man. And yeah, just great work on Slain with the aforementioned Pat Mills, who put a bit of effort in on that stuff, which was nice. Sorry, Pat, that's a cheap shot, but I enjoyed reading it. Simon Davis's work on Slain. And
I always enjoyed Missionary Man. I don't know what it is, but there's something about Missionary Man that just, I was always excited to see it in the old magazine.
I think because we're of an age where, to pull back the curtain back in the days before you had cable and satellite as prevailing as there was a lot of schedule filler, and westerns were a very popular thing for BBC Two. Mm-hmm. So you have been exposed to God knows how many western films as a kid because of parents. It's on. There you go.
I don't know how many times I've seen She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, but it's more than 5.
Yeah, so there's kind of a it's weird kind of how, even if you don't pay attention, if it's just on in the background, how it's a presence in terms of the media. You inadvertently consume can help shape you. So, and westerns were, you would generally, in sort of the UK boys comics, westerns kind of more or less had died out.
Yes.
When we were reading, even in things like, if you were, like, we get the old annuals and stuff, or reprint annuals like Hotspur, you might get the odd western thing that generally had some kind of sci-fi or fantasy tinge to it. So like a proper western didn't really happen. And again, Missionary Man comes out after, because the western had kind of died, and even in America to a greater extent. Apart from like the prestige, you basically had the western was an afterthought because people thought it was, well, it was old-fashioned, and it did kind of obviously present most of it in the aren't we nice great white saviors, and kind of like to. But there was kind of some odd ones that would kind of filter out sort of towards the sort of into the late 80s Silverado. But I think you're looking at really Lonesome Dove and Unforgiven by Clint. I think, again, Unforgiven has, you just look at Mission Man, he's based on Clint and Unforgiven.
100%, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no talent borrows, genius steals. Again, and The Cursed Earth is a good backdrop for a western story in Dread, but again, it lets you have your cake if you can do proper western. You can give it the sci-fi trappings to ensure that your traditional 2000 AD Dread readers aren't going to split the dummy out because it's not got fucking aliens or science fiction in it. This is a thing, by the way. Comic readers are very averse to, I like it how it is, don't give me anything that's not what I want. There's a sizable portion who are exactly like that.
Yeah. So that's just not comic readers, that's everyone. They're in all walks of life, I'm afraid.
But, so you kind of get Mission Man to again, stands out quite nice. Again, at the start when you've got Frank Whiteley doing it, whose art suits like desolate wide spaces if you're doing backgrounds, because he does detail, but not lots of detail. The detail's where it needs to be. But if you look at Frank Whiteley's backgrounds, they have the detail they need. They're not overly rendered.
Yeah.
So he is basically, something kind of Western when you can do it. Again, similar to when the biggest sort of, in comics, the biggest Western really in the modern era is Preacher. Because it's a Western.
Funny enough, I was waiting for the moment where I could say the best Western in the 90s was Preacher. Because, oh my God, that is a love letter to Americana and the Wild West, and two lads from Ireland managed to do that.
Yeah, but again, a couple of years older than us, so probably more entrenched in sort of, as we say, kind of what the media you get. So again, while we were exposed to a lot of Westerns at that time, it was still, even then, not as much. You just got lots of it. So you probably have that kind of thing. So no, S.B. Davis is just... And again, his work, it was great that it lends so well to anything with a horror aspect. The cover shows basically his grasp of lighting, which is what you want. If you want to do horror, it's not about gore or anything in comics. I mean, the lighting's where you're going to win and lose.
Yeah.
It's about that, again. And it's like, that's a weathered dark blade. It's like this is a dark blade that hasn't lived.
What I really like about it is that the elves usually are portrayed as being beautiful. Yeah, they are glamorous. They project glamour. They are, what you have, especially with the dark elves. There's still that sense of ethereal beauty to them. What this is just this crone-like, battered individual who has seen so much, and this one picture does more to tell the story of Darkblade than every issue of Darkblade we've had.
Yeah. It's you can see the journey's etched on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He has lived, rather than saying it's not a knock on Kev Hopgood's stuff. Again, as we've raved about Kev Hopgood's stuff, it's been brilliant.
Absolutely. But as a single image, as a cover image, this is freaking stunning.
Yeah.
And it's the one of the best things in the world is seeing how different people have a take on an established look, an established character. Yeah, you see it throughout the history of comics, and it's how these characters evolve and change as different people take on different aspects, and those aspects become popular, so they stay. Batman's chest logo being one of the most prominent examples of how something can change and evolve and swap and move around.
Yeah. And again, I should move away from, again, as we've talked about a couple of times, as one of the worst things in terms of if you're doing anything is a house style.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just restricts the creativity. If I'm bringing a guy in to do something, I bring him in because they've got skills. I shouldn't be looking for to then hammer out their skills to fit what I'm doing. It's like, no, you do your version of mine. As I said, I'm sure I've mentioned before, but the best example, one of the best examples is if you look at, in terms of kids comic, from my era is Transformers.
Yeah.
Is you look at any of the longer UK stories, flip from, oh look, you've got Jeff Anderson. Oh look, you've now got Will Simpson. You've now got Robin Smith. We're now into Jeff Senior. We're back to that. So the style will shift from week to week.
Yeah.
But readers will go along with it if it's good. 2000 AD, when ABC Orders came back, you had Bisley for the first half of the Black Hole, who is, again, that's the 13-year-old boy's wet dream, or cishet little boy's wet dream in terms of it's all big muscles and violence.
Yep.
And then you move to SMS for the back half of it, which harkens much more back to the classic of the Mick McMahons and the Kevin Neals, but it's a much more thoughtful, rendered, quieter approach.
Yeah.
And again, it's not. They didn't say, "Oh, SMS, could you draw a little bit more like Simon?" And they didn't go, "Simon, could you do a little bit more?" So like, you do you, and people will enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Some will enjoy it more, some will not. But I'd rather have that than this. I'm going to make you try and draw the way that these things have to be drawn.
Yeah, it's one of the big things that nobody really talks about anymore from the Dreamwave era of Transformers. Just because you mentioned the UK and how. In a lot of ways, well, the US one moved around from different artists and got, although it was more
US had
in a certain way.
US Transformers had the same inkers throughout, which for a long time, which is why, fun fact for Transformers fans, if you actually look at the first Jose Delbo issue, which is memory certainly Space Hikers, you cannot actually at first read through tell that Don Perlin's left the book. It's when you lose Aiken and Garvey the following issue and you see Hosey starts getting a lot flatter inkers who aren't putting as much work or as much depth into it. Your Dave Hunts, your Danny Bolandis, who are good inkers but just were not doing what had come before.
Yeah.
That's when you notice the difference.
Absolutely. And Dreamwave famously made sure that everybody everyone drew in exactly the same style. And partly he could do it, and he could do it quite well. I say quite well.
Dull surprise
Yeah.
for those that don't know. Just Google it. Go to the TF Wiki and you'll have it. It's fine.
Just Google Pat Lee and enjoy a couple of hours of reading about Pat Lee and all the wonderful stuff that he did. But then when other artists came on, you could see them fighting and struggling against that style so much. And the more than meets the eye profile books, as much as I love those books, some of those I feel so bad for the artists because they are fighting.
It's a character profile book which lacks one thing which you kind of need: character.
Yeah.
It's absolutely it's like mostly no known weaknesses. It's like, take it, if you're reading those books, two fingers of your drink when you have it, you'll be dead. Yeah. I speak as someone who bought them all as well, so I'm speaking from a grand seat of hypocrisy and buyer's remorse.
Yep, I've got them all. I've still got them. I've still got all my Dreamwave comics. I don't know why, but I still do. There's a sickness in me. But yeah,
Hair shut. But we digress. So again, so it's always nice to see it, and it's what we've not actually seen. So it's a good point to kind of mention is the established characters haven't really. It's you've got your creative teams. That's it. We're not moving about between them.
no.
Not something we've really seen yet. Now the vague memory in the back goes, I know that changes as we go on, as certain artists do not continue doing work from Warhammer Monthly.
Yeah.
I know Demonofuge definitely has a different artist as we go further on.
Book 3, I think.
Yeah, Inquisitor as well, if memory. This is just vague bits in the back of my memory. But there are things like Blood Quest where, no, it's Gordon Rennie, it's Colin McNeil, that's it.
Yeah.
So you can have... So the covers are probably your only shot at this point to kind of see anyone trying to do a little bit different flavour. So it's nice, but again, it's very atmospheric again, and a lot of black. Which again, this the whole point. As I said, for anything of horror, is you got to get your lighting right. You get the lighting right, everything else works. And I don't need lots of detail in that. There's enough there. You don't need to see the intricate bits of his armour or all that, or what the background is. It's clearly it's burning braziers in some kind of castle or building somewhere. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. I love the eyes on him. The eyes are just so sickly. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. So let's get inside the comic. Inside this comic we have Blood Quest. Trapped in the Eye of Terror, Leonatus and his crew are embroiled in a battle between the armies of Chaos and must face the might of an awesome Banelord Titan. Gift of the Gods. Magna and his crew. I'm glad it says Gift of the Gods here, by the way. Magna and his crew of Norse pirates plunder a Tillian merchant ship, but discover the cargo carries a deadly curse. I have tried to work this word out. Epiphagium?
Epiphagium, I think.
Epiphagium, okay. A force of iron snakes, Space Marines are surrounded by an elder war host when Chief Librarian Nectar, not Hector, as I keep reading it. I keep reading it as Hector. It's not, it's Nectar. Discovers their fortress abandoned. He suspects a trap. Zero option. On an icebound world, a despairing commissar has one last chance to keep the orc invaders at bay, and Darkblade. The mysterious orb leads Malice to a ruined palace which only comes alive when night falls. We also have next issue, Jericho and Scabs hit the treasure trail in the first episode of a 4-part epic, The Motherlode. Exciting!
Why? Not next issue.
I know.
Next issue. See, this is...
Yep. I was going to get to this.
which partially tells me this might have been a late in the day decision.
Well, looking at it,
given your production,
yeah,
and because there's no reference to anywhere about are you enjoying the
Redeemer Summer Specials.
It's basically no. It's such a weird thing in terms of there's no acknowledgement that this is going on.
No,
which is this has been a we need to. Has it been that thing is, was the decision by James Workshop to kind of see if we can get a sales bump, and or as a site test bed to see is a fortnightly going to be manageable, doable?
I think I've got no insider knowledge on this at all. It's just like trying to pull information together and work this out. But what I think happened was the entire thing was dropped. They had it all ready to go, and someone somewhere either decided that this was all going to be a single volume that they were going to put out, maybe as like the first Black Library graphic novel or whatever. But the problem with that is because it's set into the different parts. I don't think that's the case.
No.
Or it was all ready to go and they just wanted it done and gone. Because it's weird that, and this is one of the problems with Warhammer Monthly, there is no real information out there about anything. It is really, really tough to discover anything, which is one of the reasons I really want to start trying to get hold of people to come on to talk about their time Warhammer Monthly, because if they remember it, of course, there's so many questions that we have that are just up in the air now.
Oh yeah, as I'm sure we've mentioned before, it's important to remember that the way that, and I include us in this, that fans put on things that creatives generally just go, oh, that's what I was doing this week, this month. It's just the job, and that's it. It's important to do that. So, but it very much feels more. I would be inclined to say that someone's backhandedly trying to go, let's see if we can maybe make this fortnightly and test it.
Maybe.
If there's, which pure, it's an odd way of doing it, and it just seems like it's very last minute. Like I say, just because there's no acknowledgement of we're into the. So last month we gave you the first of two issues. Mm-hmm. You got a regular one, and we took a break to do the first half of how you liking it?
Yeah.
There's nothing in it which suggests this isn't necessarily a creative decision, but this is a publishing decision in terms of just let's either test something or we want rid of this.
Yeah.
Because we've got other stuff ready to go. Whereas that would clog up a slot for
bringing back Jim Refuge or bringing back, yeah.
However, the important thing to note about this is almost every story they've done has had at least one issue gap.
Yeah.
Any series we've had, which suggests that their scheduling hasn't been great, either because creatives have missed deadlines or what have you, or things have been moved. So, if you've got a solid banker of 12 parts,
why are you not putting that into the main magazine in order just to give yourself some breathing space? Yeah.
Which, like I say, suggests that this is potentially going in a let's hotshot and see if it does the numbers. Mm-hmm. Because if their numbers stayed the same, potentially you'd be looking at, there's legs here.
Yeah.
Fortnightly, because as we said, a monthly in terms of traditionally the UK market hasn't been the main one. Dread Magazine is an outlier because it's a secondary title that's kind of sits beside 2000 AD. Mm-hmm. So that, and again, that has at various times been fortnightly, 4-weekly, monthly, and moved about depending on where they were.
Yeah.
So that has been that. While it's a long-lived title, 30th anniversary issue comes out, I think, or 35th anniversary is out. Yeah, 35th anniversary is this as we record is just dropped. Mm-hmm. But it's not the main title. Whereas this is your only thing. So, are you wanting to move it and try and see if it go again? By this point, there isn't a traditional UK market. Panini's established the 4-weekly for the essentials because they've got 3 on the go at this point, because you've got X-Men, Spider-Man, and the Heroes Reborn, Return, whatever it all goes into. So they've got 3 on the go. They're every 4 weeks. So you've hit the market already, but. So this very much feels like this is a kind of a bean counter decision rather than creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think creative based on if I'm the editor of the book and I know I've had issues which material hasn't been ready and I've had to just put other stuff in. If I've got a solid banker where everything is done, mm-hmm. that's gold to me. We'll keep that there. That's Jim Bowen. That's safe. That's safe.
No, you're absolutely right. And
any anthology that it needs a bank, and if it's got bankable material, it will keep it and hold it.
Yeah.
If it, well, not all of it, but it will make sure that it's got. I know this is going to go. I've got a year's worth of this story. Brilliant. Even if the reason the speculation goes to did they try and pump it because it's crap is that's the other thing is a lot of time they will try and this is cack.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of it.
Do you think then that there's a chance that the problem was that they had a year's worth of material, and it was we have a year's worth of material. It's not very good. We don't want this to be in the comic for a year. It's too long.
I mean, that's possible, but again, to up your frequency, just to get rid of one story,
Yeah.
that's a gamble. And you're also looking at if they've got no confidence in that creatively, are they thinking this could tank us?
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of think it's a bean counter decision.
Yeah. Well,
You've picked the one that they've got because you've got Pat, who knows how to deliver on time because he's been an editor as well, so he knows the game. You got Wayne Reynolds, who's pretty much as he said from his interview, this is one of his only second jobs, so he's very much at the I'm going to make sure this gets done because I need to get my rep in quickly of because the amount of talented comic creators that go by the wayside because they cannot hit a deadline.
Yeah.
And that was always the thing for sort of comics is the deadline is there, it's done, get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Deadline is king.
Not so much now. There's more indulgences and comic ship all the time, but certainly from the hallmarks of way back. Let's say because it used to be the 70s used to be a bad time, particularly for Marvel, in that things would be late, so you would then have your fill-in issues, which would be either inventory material or reprints of old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much once Jim Shooter, who a much maligned and recently passed away. One of the things that was because a lot of the time that the writers of titles at Marvel were also the editors.
Yes.
So he made the rule that if you're writing the book, you can edit it, and it meant there was a bit of accountability, and none of that happened less and less.
I mean, I could get into a massive conversation about Jim Shooter, and it's probably best that we don't do that because the man, I think, you're absolutely correct. The man was much maligned. He made some poor choices, but then find me somebody in that kind of position who didn't make poor choices at some point in their career. My favourite thing about him is always going to be that Wizard magazine never really went to town on him, and they always just made fun of him for being far too tall.
Yeah.
It's like someone at Wizard magazine had a lot of love for Jim, and he did a lot. He did a lot.
A very complicated, but again,
Yeah.
a lot to unpack, and again, because I've never had any direct contact, but what I've seen from there are certain people who, and you can't argue, he instituted basically a homophobic policy in Marvel because anything queer coded was queer coded rather than out there.
Right.
There's a lot. He was,
That was something I wasn't aware of. Jeez.
Oh yes, it's basically you're not having same-sex stuff, so it's all very much subtext.
Mm-hmm.
Which horrific policy, but on the other hand, it meant certain writers had to be a bit more creative about it.
Yes.
So would they necessarily have done better stories with it being front and centre, given in certainly the early to mid 80s? It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to argue with certain people that would be the case. But there's certain things in terms of he instituted royalty policies at Marvel. Artists got the original art back.
Mm-hmm.
He did, again, good and ill, but again, product of his era, bigoted in some ways, not so big in others, because Priest talks about it, the former James Owsley, in that he was a young black man as an editor of Marvel in the 80s, and he, basically, I think he's one of the first to get a computer in his office and get a decent chair, and it's only because he just went up to Jim and asked. So, like I say, very few people are entirely bad or entirely good. We're a mixture of both. So there's a lot to unpack in terms of it. But as we digress.
Speaking of unpacking, shall we get into it?
Yes. So we've got a letters page.
Yep. Nothing really stood out in here for me for the letters page this time around.
However, well done to Matt Smith, Cheltenham Terror, for calling out longer stories and referencing Transformers. Lad.
I missed that.
Oh, I did not.
Where's he at? Matt Smith.
He's impressed with the comic, but he's like,
Oh, yeah.
well done. Longer ones with more depth and character development. So Matt Smith is clearly, we could be drinking pals. I think we vibe.
Yep. So if you are Matt Smith from Cheltenham Terror, please get in contact, because I would. I feel that we are very much on the same page here. The one I quite liked, and I've only just realised this could also be seen as a Transformers reference. Why does anyone write stories about orcs or any other alien races? Everything is human or humanish. A story about an orc warg could be very interesting. Variety is the spice of life. Very rarely do we have stories about Eldar or Dark Eldar. 40k is about more than just humans. Blaster via email. It's like,
Yep.
It only takes another 20 odd years before that becomes a thing in Black Library.
Yeah.
What I also quite like is it came in via email in 1997. That's ooh, look at you being fancy.
Yep.
Sorry, 1999, not 1997. I don't know why I said 97. Yeah, 99 emails. Look at you, you fancy pants.
Oh yeah. It's again, it's more from the US side of things, but sort of in 96 is where the Marvel US you'd start seeing it coming in and DC, I should say, from email at that point. But it doesn't seem to kind of trip here to the UK till a couple of years later, and then, I mean, these things are there because the minute you're at university, you've got access to all this sort of stuff, but not everyone's got home internet access.
Not in 1999, absolutely not. It's rare.
I didn't get it till 2001, just couldn't need it.
Yeah.
Wasn't interested.
The argument is, do we need it now? Anyhow, so yeah. So we're into Blood Quest, Episode 2, script by Gordon Rennie, art by Colin McNeil, letters by Fiona Stevenson, and we are on this demon world. There is war without end, carnage without slaughter, for no purpose other than the whim of vast forces who care nothing for the untold numbers who fight and die in their names. Spare no one, friend or enemy, all must die, kill them all and let Lord Khorne recognize his own. Our heroic space marines are trying to fight their way through hordes of beastmen armed with spears and fantasy battle armor, which I quite like. One of my favourite, this is genuinely one of my favourite moments in Warhammer Monthly to date, is this Chaos Marine coming up to the Blood Angels. Ah, welcome, brother renegade. Which war band are you with? Which side do you fight for, brother? Not yours, Chaos Filth. Bang! I love the idea of a Chaos Marine seeing some Loyalist Marines and just going, oh, must be renegades.
Well, it's not an unfair assumption, because remember that the conceit about that is the Eye of Terror is time doesn't work, so he could legitimately be from the Horus Heresy. Well, not quite, because his armor's slightly, but he could effectively be, oh yeah, you've just arrived now.
Yep.
But that guy's just been there for like millennia. So, but been around at the time. So,
it's just such a wonderful little moment. I love the idea of this Chaos Marine being all like super friendly. It's like, oh yeah, hello, you're my mate. You are. Oh, I've been shot.
Yeah.
So they fight their way through some Warhammer Fantasy Chaos Warriors. I love this fact. I love this fact to bits. There are too many of them, though, and they do not have the firepower to cleave a way through. However, a gigantic foot crushes down a titan, a god machine of the Imperium, casting the shadow of the Emperor's might across 1,000 battlefields, and Leonatus has seen them raise cities, put entire armies to flight. But this one is chaos. It is a demon host, a Bane Lord, and for those of you who don't know, Bane Lords, oh, that's such a wonderful reference. Go and see the deeper dives episodes we do on Patreon, where we went through the first appearance of the Bane Lord as made by Adrian Wood. It makes me so super happy. Lysander decides that the best way to attack this thing is to scale it like they're in the Dark Horse Godzilla series and fight their way to the top. They get up where these wonderful Leonardo da Vinci creatures. Just look at these things. Do you remember the wings of Sanguinius? Trenio, he says. One of the tests of bravery you underwent as a young warrior back on Baal Secundus, waiting on a cliff top for approaching dust storms, riding the storm on your wings of wood and hide, not knowing if the winds would carry you to safety or leave your smashed body for the desert creatures to feed on. This is what we must do now, Trenio. We must ride the hurricane. And it's exactly what they do. They set explosions and use the concussive force of the explosions to get themselves clear. The Titan drops. Titanfall, which, why that's not a name for comic, I don't know. And already the survivors around the Titan swarm over it, start ripping it apart. Leonatus and his battle brethren escape, a chance for escape, leaving behind them the horrors of this place, for ahead of them a whole world of even greater horrors still awaits. This is fucking brilliant.
It's simply gorgeous. Like,
every aspect of this is 10 out of 10.
I absolutely love. I say, clearly Colin's been given lots of quality reference material for this. As you said, doing like Warhammer Fantasy Beastmen, and you're seeing Chaos Warriors as well as Chaos Space Marines. It's kind of the this is.
Yeah. Yes. But the fact you've got the Bane Lord in there as well, that's so cool. Like, the art is gorgeous. The scale of the Titan is incredible. The storytelling is impeccable. This is absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to struggle to talk about it in anything other than every moment of this is just beautiful. I love the Titan. The Titan is terrifying. It is this horrible, huge monstrosity with big wibbly tentacles and a giant gun face. Yeah.
And it's also just the rather great thing of when we get the Titan in a full body shot, it's so far away. It's far away in the distance, as if the camera's or the viewpoint's so far back. And then when you see anything interacting with any of the Blood Angels, it's so close in, so you're getting that sense of scale. Because that's one of the things in comics, if you're dealing with characters of different scale sizes, there are lots of tricks to help you emphasise that. And Collins pitched this, and Gordon as well, because obviously I'm assuming it'll be in his script as well.
Yeah.
Anytime you're seeing the Titan full on, you're seeing it from some distance away, then it's extreme close up. And anytime you're actually looking at the Titan, it's only ever a bit of it. It's never all of it on panel at any one time, except with that massively long shot.
Yeah. Oh god. I mean, I love the fact there's a panel here where it's just the feet and all the little ants are running around underneath it.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my god. One of the things I really love here is the sound of it. You've got the picture when you see it fully, and you just have the sound effect of doom, doom, doom. Even the sound effects are just absolutely spot on.
My favourite sound effect, and it's clear that they've taken that from the excellent Walt Simonson's Mighty Thor run, because his very first issue, that's when you see that there's a forge and there's basically a hammer striking down on it, and it's just doom, doom. All sound issues. It's a lovely trick.
Yeah. It's
I've
so good.
myself on occasion.
That's what you should. As you said before, talent borrows, genius steals. I think my favourite sound effect is the foot coming down. Splotch! Yeah, the fact that you get my favourite Chaos Marine of all time, Brother Friendly, who then is dispatched. Then you get the fight scene of them fighting their way through the Chaos Warriors. Then you get the introduction of the Titan. Then you get them climbing the Titan. Then you get the little flashback that reminds you that these guys were, they were trained for this, for want of a better way. Then you get the payoff of setting off the explosion and throwing themselves off the thing. Then you get it coming down. Then you get them all swarming it, all the Chaos Warriors swarming it to rip it apart and kill it. And then you get the ominous, feeling of what's to come. There's not an inch of wasted space here. Everything is in service to the story, both in the single issue and as a greater whole, and it is
Yeah.
absolutely top notch. Both Gordon and Colin are firing with all cannons, and they are top of the game here. Absolutely top of the game.
No, it has to be for this, because this is what you're wanting to suggest. You are in basically the worst place imaginable for you, so there can't be any wasted movement.
No.
It's you know you need to get away. So even though we're getting some exposition, we're getting some dialogue, but it's all on the move. We're moving towards something.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're moving towards yet because they don't know themselves. They just know, shit, this is not a good place to be. We need to be away from here as quickly as possible. There's none of this, oh, these are enemies of the Emperor, we'll do the usual. It's like, no, there's very much we're outnumbered, we don't have a huge amount of ammunition, we're not going to be restocked easily. Let's be quick, efficient. It's that, again, it's kind of showing you, rather than telling you, just why Space Marines are Space Marines.
Yeah.
What they're there for. Again, you get them when they're amassed chapter, here's the big force going down, but no, here's what you can see with a small group of competent, well-trained Marines acting with focus. And that's why they're as good as they are.
Yeah.
In terms of combat. Again, it is relentless pace. It's just, we're moving on, we've got it, we don't have time to waste. So you're not getting the 5-page introspective conversation about how we're doomed and all that. It's just like, it's all implicit. It's in there, which is just, we're easily outnumbered, outclassed. We're getting by on smarts.
Yeah.
And tact.
It also explains now why Lysander has both a power axe and a power glove, because how else are you going to break through and use a Titan to clamber up?
Yeah.
I love that sequence of him running, just the sheer dynamism of him running and jumping and getting the axe into the metal and using it to pull himself up.
That ain't Lysander, that is Brother Cloten, my friend, remember.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Ah. Sorry, I was too busy looking at the art and not listening to what I was actually saying. That's my bad.
that is old mad Brother Cloten, who will be soon descending to the black. Who again, I'm sure we'll get bits as we go along about the Black Rage kicking in.
Yeah, just 10 out of 10. Love this. And honestly, I know I've said it a couple of times now, but you go back to that original, 3 issues of Blood Quest. I would never have guessed that I would be here. This is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's again we've it's the sense of jeopardy that we've got in this now. We kick Darkblade for this on this. Now, this is kind of similar in that you kind of knew they were going to find a way around the Titan, but it's not a case of Titan isn't the end goal. It's an obstacle. It presents reasonable jeopardy, but they provide the solution themselves. And they're on to it well, and it's very nice that what you have in the last panel, which is just, it's an open expanse.
Yeah.
And there's no hint of what it is. It's just like there's more to come. Not giving any hint, but it's just like, and you can see there's only a handful of them. That's all that's there.
I think the main difference between the way that they deal with the Titan here and the way that Darkblade usually deals with anything is that the fix comes from the characters. They work out what to do. Darkblade has a tendency of just kind of being told, or having to work out what he's been told. And seeing these Marines having to make decisions and choices and try to work out what the best thing to do is going to be, it just works really, really well.
I mean, as you can see, and it speaks to kind of the economics of your traditional UK comic writer, specifically on this one, in that, I will do this in about 8 pages.
Yeah.
Give that to a US publisher, and oh look, that's an issue and a half.
Yes.
Well, I see. And again, the temptation is, and it's rather telling, is you don't get the splash page for the Titan.
No.
A more indulgent would have been, you get your splash page at the start to kind of just recap it. Oh, you're in the Eye of Terror, here's where we are. Your traditional sort of intro page being a splash page. But, there is no splash page to show the Titan.
Nope. It's the, you see the full thing I mean, the introductions is just his foot, and that's
Yeah.
oh, that's such a smart way of doing it. And then when you get to see the full thing, it's just the top third of a page.
Yeah.
And then using everything around it in order to keep that scale and make sure everyone realise how dangerous it is.
When you're there, you're tightening on sort of the joints around its leg, and again that thing is that's how high up they get.
Yeah.
It's like we've not gone up to the back of the brain or where it is to kill the crew. It's like, no, we've got to a point where we know we can do damage.
Yeah, we're on the knee, and that's as far as we can get. It's the fact that he's using crack and melter grenades. Yes, oh my god.
Yep.
Second Ed, crack and melter being used at the same time. Jesus, nothing surviving that.
Alright, so nice to see it again. Just it's a good loadout.
Yep.
Not often taken.
When I next play a game of Second Ed, I'm going to try using crack and melter on the same character. See what happens.
Well, you could. Well, remember, your squad. You need different squads for that.
Oh yeah,
because that's the thing. Technically speaking, illegal loadout because you're only your squad. You'd be. I assume. Well, no. Could you decide to do different ones?
You could carry both, but you could only use one.
Yeah. So no, you could because you would just say. It depends because if Cloten's technically if the captain could use his melter, they would have to use the crack. But that's how you get around it. The squad, but the squad would have to use the same.
Yeah, they'd have to have the same grenades, the same. Yeah.
Or could your squad do different? I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while since, obviously quite a while since I played Second Ed. Could you choose not only some of your squad to just fire and some to use grenades?
No. No, because it took up a firing slot. I'm sure it did.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But let's say, for example, it's like I've got my tactical squad of 5. I'm gonna have these 3 shoot their bolters because they've not moved and do sustained fire, and I've got these guys who are just gonna lob some grenades.
No, the entire unit would fire, or the entire unit would throw grenades.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. Although, hang on, where's my Second Ed book? It's down there.
These are the important things that people need to know. The rules, how it would work in the rule system from 20 odd years ago.
Tell you what, if anybody out there really wants me to do it, I will do a Patreon episode where I will stat out and load every version of 40k, the team from BloodQuest, and I will work it out. That's a Patreon episode, so you've got to come and join us on Patreon for that.
But yeah, it's quite like I say, what I like is it's the quiet efficiency. And again, it's the efficiency and it's the economy of pace in this. There's not, as you say, there's nothing wasted.
No.
Again, even when your Titan falls, you're not getting the splash page or the big showy panel. It's just it drops because its knees went, so it's not a big theatrical. It is just a nope, I'm fucked. Everyone else is just charging in. We move on very quickly.
Yep. Wasn't there a 360 game called Titanfall?
I think so. This is vaguely remembering a.
Right, so from this point forward, we're going to say that 360 game ripped off BloodQuest.
But absolutely, it's again, I say there's not enough superlatives you can say about the art. Just that the ink washes are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, every aspect of it is just gorgeous. Every aspect is perfect. This is something special. It really is. God damn it! I want more things of this caliber. Anyhow, should we move on to Gift of the Gods?
Yes, another Gordon Rennie joint, Simon Davis. So the missionary man team are back together again, and letters from Gordon Robinson. So this is the tale we talked about, which is the great ocean, the world sea, to the Norsemen who've been sailing it for centuries, raiding, trading, and exploring as suits their barbaric whim. Now in the waters between Araby and the Old World, a Norse longship comes upon an easy prize. Ha! Chilean merchant ship. Let us pray it's one of the ships of that dog, the Prince of Lucini. We'll put his crew to the sword and seize its cargo in payment for that mercenary gold he once cheated us of.
Hey, backstory.
Yeah. So you have, it's outnumbered by the savage Norsemen, and the fate of the vessel's crew was never in doubt. They basically are getting killed.
They are being beheaded. The lovely little silhouette shot is just showing heads flying around, which I quite like.
See, really, did I not say the gods would not forget us? For first they send us a fair wind for home, and now a rich merchantman to plunder. Aye, Magnar, but remember what the sagas say. Beware the gifts of the gods, for they often come at a hidden price. Are you foreshadowing that this is going to be another one of the short tales with a sting in the tail?
Yep. By the ravens only, the gods do not merely favour us, they have blessed us. We have scant pickings of this voyage, but our return home richer than the greatest Jarl.
So they're wandering through the slightly waterlogged lower deck, and there's basically lots of gold.
Yep.
And he turns, and his mate's like, Magnar, listen to me. And he's like, just turns round, and it's a beautiful facial expression. Inside is just great. And he's like, a ship far adrift from any trade route, a hold full of dead men and a Harrowby gold. Do you not sense there is something wrong here? And it's like, a frail voice remembers he cannot Norskin. His eyes are blinded by greed, as were mine before him. And you see a rather unpleasant-looking Talian person going, who kind of slightly emaciated, sunken eyes, kind of almost skull-like. And he's like, when we raided the tomb of an Arabi sultan, we thought only of the riches it would bring us. But then came the storms that blew us off course, and the sickness and madness that turned us against each other. So take your prize, Norskin, and may it bring you as much good fortune as it has brought us.
You heard what he said, Magna. We should... I heard the ravings of a dying lunatic. Nothing more. Have the treasure hoisted above the longship. If there's any curse here, it'll lie on the ocean floor along with the rest of this rotting hulk.
And so what we see is the next panel's lovely. It's because it has the ship almost doing an ET framed against the light as the oceans become ever more turbulent. There's storms, and it's like over the next few days, Magnar's crew may have cause to reflect on their captain's word as the voyage home is interrupted first by storms and then by other strange maladies. Another 3 dead this morning and 4 more that won't see sunset tonight. It is as the Talians said, first the storms, then the sickness. Now the very winds have abandoned us. It's the cursed. When we raided that hold of that Talian ship, we took aboard more than stolen Araby gold.
What bewitchment is this that has turned you all into frightened old women? What madness has possessed you that you would throw away a fortune in gold?
Aye, madness it will be, Magnar. Madness that the Talian warned us of, the same madness that will take us all if we do not throw that cursed gold over the side. So Magnar, as all good, reasonable sea captains decide to do, takes on board his feedback from his crew, examines it, listens to the and gives a reasoned and well thought out response. So be it. Cowardly mutinous curs, and he lops the boy's head off.
Yeah.
And goes, it's my gold. I'll not be surrendering it to oath-breaking scum like you. My gold, you hear me? My gold. I'll let no man take it from me. Yeah, so here's a thing that is true in any walk of life is senior management are not very receptive to feedback from those beneath them. He perhaps should have couched that in slightly more better terms.
I hope this email finds you well.
Yes. I believe we should be pursuing an alternative strategy which, while it may cause some short-term difficulties, will have greater long-term prospects for survival.
Oh man alive, that's the perfect way of reading this.
Yeah, it's basically feedback from middle management to senior stakeholders in your organisation. And it proves what is always known along is the higher up you are in an organisation, the less fucking capable you are.
I've got an entire theory about that, but we won't get into that here.
Yes. And so, drifting on the unpredictable currents of the Great Ocean, it's months before the longship's found. Its finders are a band of cutthroat pirates from the pirate island of Sartosa. Oh, and they're like, Ranald's favour. I fear we might have to return to port empty-handed on this voyage.
My gold!
As he pops up, but not with an axe, but what looks like a leg bone.
Yep, a very long leg bone.
Yep.
And he is so emancipated from what he was from the page before.
It's a very nice detail.
Yeah.
It's a madman driven insane by thirst and isolation. No matter what's his is ours now, because they basically just twat him with the hilt of the sword. It's not even he's killed, he's just been knocked out. And it's like, we'll take this
I read that as his it was another decapitation because you've got the goo coming from the bottom of the neck.
I'd have just whacked him with the hilt of the sword.
No. This story likes decapitating. I don't know why. Gordon Rennie's just got this thing about chopping people's heads off in this one.
So it's scan's a little bit dark. So at that point, we'll leave him. We'll take his precious gold and leave him right here with the rest of his shipmates. After that, we can get down to the business of discussing the division of spoils, as they all look kind of very happy and ooh, good. The end.
So, the first question I'm going to ask is: you see that last picture, that last panel? You see the guy in the middle?
Yeah.
Does he remind you of anyone? Just think of the first Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? So I can't remember the character's name. It's like Tubbs or something like that. But
yeah,
it's kind of weird that I felt the story about some haunted treasure and some pirates take it and they're going to get cursed to a living on death, and then you have a guy who looks like he actually was in the Pirates of the Caribbean film. So.
However, this was out before, so we know it's not a copy.
No, I think it's the other way around. Once again, if Titanfall stole ideas from Warhammer Monthly for an Xbox 360 game, obviously Bruckheimer stole this for the Pirates of the Caribbean film. I'm not being serious, don't sue me.
Yes, Disney have got other problems right now.
Yes, well, yeah.
I don't paying attention to the podcast, although they should.
We'll leave that one alone, I think. But all in all,
so
I quite like the fact that the sting in the tail for this isn't a sting in the tail as such.
The art is lovely because, as I said, I love sign. It left me flat. I think partly because it's signposted what you know is going to happen. Now, I don't mind that on some things, but there's nothing to this, and
no.
It very much also feels like we've kind of had a little bit of this before with the excruciating Curse of Dubois.
Well, one of the things I was going to say was, how much better would this have been if instead of a Tillian ship, it was a Bretonian ship, and this was the guy from Dubois, just like, I mean, obviously that was never going to happen, but that would have made me chuckle. Although saying that, hang on, does he actually say that he stole it himself? Yeah, he said, when we raided the tomb of an Araby Sultan. Yeah.
It's like, again, this is very much, it's not, the story is fine, it serves with what it is, but it's just, this is on, editorial should be realising, if I've commissioned something like this already, don't fucking commission it again.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder how the commissioning process worked. Are people just sending scripts in, and then those scripts are getting picked? Or is the editorial team actually, doing a writer's room and getting people to write ideas that are being brought up? Because I've got the feeling that this was, they'd have a collection of people's names, Gordon Rennie, Dan Abnett, a few others, and they'd be like, yep, just send in the scripts, and we'll either decline them or agree with confirm them, and we'll just go from there. Yeah.
It's like, let's say, part of it is when you're reading it, I'm looking at it going, this annoys me, not because of the story, but because it's similar to something it already is, and it's not similar because Gordon Rennie wrote that story before, someone else did. So this is this is on the, if you're commissioning stuff, have a bit more savvy about it.
Absolutely.
This is where you go editorial and go, yes, I'm sure Gordon did that and gave you that idea and said it was very good, but you've got one that's similar enough that you should be going, nah.
I suppose, though, the Curse of Dubois was well over a year ago, wasn't it?
Doesn't feel like it.
Well, I don't think it was for us. I'm just going to quickly go back and see if I can find out where the Curse of Dubois actually was, because I'm sure it was within the first, issue 4 and 5.
Again, while that might be the case, you're hoping your readers are sticking around for long enough.
Yeah.
So you should have one on that. But the best thing about the story isn't the story itself, it's the accompanying feature.
Yeah. I love this Seas of the Old World little cutout.
Again, we've kind of talked this before in terms of when they've had sort of expanded features, they've generally not been ill-fitting or not there. So this isn't the exact one to do it. We're doing a bit about piracy in the old world, so yeah, ram it in. Like, we've kind of talked about how they've not really they don't flesh out enough. They're assuming that enough of their audience know enough.
Yeah.
About that. This is the kind of thing that if you're doing sort of Warhammer, particularly for Warhammer, because a lot of the lore they've managed to drop in the 40k centric stories. That's kind of been quite reasonably well done. But particularly for a fantasy thing where you're trying to say, look, we're not actually Tolkien.
Yes, yeah.
Again,
we are very much our own thing.
And this predates, obviously, the Lord of the Rings going to the big screen, although we know it's being filmed at this point.
Yes, 99. Yeah, it's definitely been worked on. It is being filmed.
Everyone knows what's going on, so you kind of want to be sticking your thing. So, I mean, it's quite nice that they are trying to avoid most of the sort of the more Tolkien-esque stuff that's been a fixture in Warhammer at this point. But yeah, expand this. Make me interested in the realm of the old world, because not enough of your stories have done enough of that. No, that's true. And I find it fascinating that this story and in the Seas of the Old World, that was very fascinating because I only just recently completed a Seas of the Old World YouTube series, where I go through all the different parts of the Seas of the Old World. So it's really fun for me to find this all of a sudden. But I like the fact that it's about Sarkosa, it's about the Tilia, it's about the Norsca Raiders. These aren't things that spend a lot of time being explored in Fantasy Battle for a very long time. Yes, they're not playable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Sartosa doesn't really come to the fore until Dreadfleet in 2010? Question mark?
Yeah, I was going to say Norsemen have a Warhammer armies coming around this time?
Through Citadel Journal, yeah. They never get an actual book, but they get a Citadel Journal army list.
Yeah, I do remember reading it. That's what I was saying. I was pretty sure it must have been not a million miles either before or after this point.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere in 1999, absolutely. Yeah, that's...
You're kind of... So you're getting a little bit. And again, there's the mention of the High Elves being the greatest seafarers in the old world. Again, dragon ships and all that. So you're getting little bits of the... the dragon ships. The Michael Moorcock stuff. Thank you.
What makes me really happy about this is that you're getting all this wonderful Mark Gibbons art from Man of War just dotted around it. It's like, Mark Gibbons knew exactly what he was doing. Just look at it. Lovely stuff. And of course, my favourite version of the Old World map, that black and white one. Always love that.
What I do love though, my favourite bit is like when they're naming the bits, and the bits are all named. It's like you've got obviously like the various bits. It's like your nations and your territories, and you've got your various bits of bodies of water. You've got the Sea of Claws, the Sea of Change, the Sea of Dread, the Great Ocean. Why is it great? I mean, is it big?
Yep, it's really, really big.
The big ocean.
Yep.
I mean, it just feels like the one's like, that'll fucking do.
Big sea, yeah. The big wet.
I think it just means there's shit all out there. It's like, aye.
Well,
you've got all these little bits. It's like, that's nice. It's like, aye, the big bit. Water everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, how do you describe it? It's wet. It's full of water.
Aye, it's quite as it. It is very much there. And you finished this map, which will be the finest map of the old world, and essential for all travellers and journeymen for years to come. I'm almost, my lord. The vast expanse of water out here off the coast of Estalia and bordering at Araby. What are we calling it?
It's the big wet. Oh God! Right. Okay.
No, I haven't thought. We'll workshop it.
The Sea of Dead. No, we've got the Sea of Dread over here. Oh shit. Okay. Right. No worries.
What's it got? What's it got? Well, it's just very large. The big ocean.
The greatest ocean the world has ever seen. Yep. No, the great. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. What's great about it? Oh no, we mean just size. Oh, yeah. More of that for all your Warhammer stuff if you want to actually draw people into it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it does a wonderful job of just getting across what this is. You know, I love the entire section when it's about the Tillian cities, the largest fleet of galleys, the largest fleet being that of Remus. The pirate city of Sartosa offers a safe port for corsairs and cutthroats which plague the waterways of the old world. Tillian war galleys are of the same make, but equipped with cannons and crewed with crossbowmen to defend the coasts and trade routes from corsairs from Araby, Norse raiders, and the occasional attacks from dark elves in their feared black arcs.
Yeah.
And there's just enough there to make you interested. Because as much as I dislike dark elves, I do love black arcs.
Yeah, I do like. There is a great typo in it though. Not that bit, but in the deep sea monsters, when we're talking about the coiled serpent gargantuan, the giant squid kraken, and the great shark Megaldan.
I didn't know it's Megaldan.
Just caught my eye there. It's like Megaldan.
Maybe that's just the name of the great shark. He's not a megalodon. He is Megaldan, the great shark.
And Megaldan, the great shark.
Yep.
And how great is he? I mean,
he fits in the great ocean, so he must be pretty great.
Is he the great shark of the great ocean?
Yes, he's the great shark of the Megaldan, the great shark of the great ocean.
Why am I thinking I want to do a manga on that? Because it just very much like you can hear the introduction. Fuck your Death of Land Shark, pish Marvel. Let's get Megaldan, the great shark of the great ocean.
Right. We have in our midst a very, very talented artist by the name of Pia Graydon, and I apologise if I'm getting your name wrong, mate, who does an amazing line of late 90s Mordheim era Warhammer style art. His art style is amazing. What I want from you, Pia, is I want you to draw us a picture of Megaldan, the great shark of the great ocean. Preferably attacking a great longship.
Like, it is just like that. Everything's great. It's all good.
It's not that it's big. It's just great.
Yeah, it's the old ocean. No, but maybe that's it. It's like no bad shit happens here. Oh, nobody crashes here. There's no pirates. It just is the great ocean.
Yeah,
you go in and everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, it's just like, as far as you can see, just beach towels and beach balls.
Yeah, exactly. Just folks just on their boats, just fishing, enjoying themselves, topping up a tan, cocktails out, good. Guns out.
The guns are actual guns from the galley ships.
Yes.
Which gives me the idea of this great shark just breaking through the water like, hey, how you doing?
Aye, all these groups with obviously their minstrels and what have you doing Wham's Club Tropicana. on lute and chanter and bagpipe and drum.
Oh my god. Oh well, now I just need to completely remake our introduction song. Where can I find a lute at this time of day?
Yeah. Well, given that we're talking about piracy, plenty of loot kicking about.
Oh.
Tip your waitress. I'm here till Thursday.
You're not allowed in the Great Ocean anymore.
Well, I think the Great Ocean would be full of like shit washed out Canadians that normally stink up Vegas residencies. or the 70s Northern, take my wife. No, seriously, take my wife.
The Great Ocean is just these like floats of butlins strapped together for floaters.
It's just like the light entertainment sort of mecca of the old world. You can't get quality entertainment like this down in Lustria, can you now?
Just full of like Frank Spencers and
Bernard Mannings and Frank Carson.
Oh, absolutely. What was the guy's name? No, the name's gone out of my head, so I'm not going to try and believe that point. But there's the It'll Be Alright on the Night guy. Used to host It'll Be Alright. Yes.
Dennis Nordon.
Yes. It's like I can see him being the face of it.
Oh no! I think Jim Bowen's like your guy.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually. Yeah, all right there. That's okay.
And I remember, that's safe. That's your BF8. That's your boat fare home. To anyone who is listening right now going, what the actual fuck are these two idiots talking about? Well, generally we don't know. However, I can actually explain most of this. So in the 70s there was what was regrettably a mainstream comedy show called The Comedians,
Yes.
which many of the people on it, their comedy was, as you can imagine, for the 70s, was basically racist
down, yeah.
and very lazy, punching down. However, inexplicably, most of these people graduated and moved on to be light entertainment fixtures in the 80s on game shows and the like. Many of them seem to be horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
Their comedy reflected their personality, with the exception of one, Jim Bowen, who fronted Bullseye, which is a darts-based quiz competition game.
Mm-hmm.
Which Challenge TV in the UK repeat it, and whatever's replaced Challenge, it's still on fairly regularly. You can see repeats of it, but it's well worth going onto YouTube. There's plenty of it there. But he had a very soft-spoken accent, and it's always like your BFH was your bus fare home.
Yep.
So if you won some cash prizes, that was safe. You would win a wee bully and all that. Which the Bullseye was the mascot, the little bully, but you would win some prizes. And then you could gamble it all and some money, and you could gamble it all for the final one, the final challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd win some prize, and potentially the Billy Star Prize. Now, these are legendary because if you didn't win the Star Prize, no matter at the end of it, he would without fail just go, now let's look at what you could have won. And would wheel out the prize that you didn't get.
Yep.
There was no hint of malice to it, but looking back, it's just like, he's fucked it. This is what you should have been home with. And they generally tended to be either a mid-range car, a caravan, or very often, we loved a fucking speedboat.
Yep.
We absolutely loved a speedboat on Bullseye.
One of my favourite things in the world is, you could have won a speedboat. But we're from Dudley. We're landlocked. Which is a thing that goes through my head at least once a week.
Yeah, it is beautiful. and generally the way it worked was it would be two teams of two. You'd have one person and another, and they would be classified as dart player and non-dart player. So you'd have someone that was vaguely decent at darts,
and
a non-dart player. And I've never found it in as like, this non-dart player to go first. Just never a hint of judgment on it, but you could just go, this guy doesn't play darts. Well, if you've never seen it, just YouTube has loads. Just go.
Yeah.
It's a weird anachronism that just you go like in all the revivals of game shows that keep going. Like Catchphrase keeps coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Wheel of Fortune never kind of really left for a while, even if John Leslie was hosting it for a while.
Yes.
That's a very specific niche UK reference. Google it, not on a work computer.
Yeah, aye. Absolutely. There's although I do have to say that the other favourite prize was a Scouse couple winning a new kitchen, and just wanted to just turn to them, I've just got a new kitchen in. Just absolutely beautiful. But no,
the prizes went in order. So on the darts board you would get, and it would escalate. But you would have things like, and it was the guy that did it was like in one, and then the guy, and that's your tea's made. I love that. It's like, and that's the garden furniture. Words etched on my soul were always, that's your VHS with my cam stereo. But it's just take it. It's also the fact that all the voices are very soothing.
Yes, yeah, it's very calm, very
very ASMR actually.
Yes.
But now to be fair, this was Sunday tea time viewing, and this was appointment viewing.
Yeah.
This was a rating smash.
Yes.
And went for years.
I think it was on air for like 12 years non-stop. Season after season after season. They just kept coming back.
But you can't go wrong with a little bit of Billy.
No, absolutely not. There's a YouTube channel out there called Back in the Day, and it's a a fella who he's just going back through the story of game shows and how the different game shows came about. He's done things like Funhouse and Finders Keepers, but also stuff like the Channel 4 We're Going to Send People Mad Through Insomnia game show. I very much recommend the channel. It's very, very good. If nothing else, just for the one where he goes into a complete breakdown of Hands on the Truck, which was a Channel 5 game show where for a week you had to keep your hand on a truck to win the truck. And yeah, nobody comes out of that looking good, including Dale Winton.
Yeah. I'd be remiss if we're looking at his Channel 5 being, and you should know where I'm about to go. And if as the worst one-off game of all time.
Is that Naked Jungle Run by any chance?
Yes,
yeah.
with Chegwin.
Yeah, Keith Chegwin's Naked Jungle Run, where middle-aged, middle-class people with no clothes would run through the Jungle Run, the kids' game show Jungle Run, which makes it so much worse.
Yeah. It only got one episode. But yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
UK TV is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about UK TV, which we're not going to get into here, because we've digressed enough, and this episode is, of course, now going to have some kind of bully name or some description.
Yeah. Let's say it's like your boat fare home.
Issue 19, The Boat Fare Home. All right, works for me. Oh, right. Do you want to take us into the next one?
So we're on to Epiphagium now, which is by Dan Abnett, with art by Paul Staples and letters from Fiona Stevenson. And this is the aforementioned tale of the Iron Snakes.
Yes,
and
the Iron Snake Space Marine
chapter. Tell you about Petrock. So I think this is the first that we've got a random Space Marine chapter in.
It is. Yep.
We're on issue 19, guys. This should not have taken as long for you to come out with a homebrew chapter.
No. It's usually one of the first things you do after about a year of playing 40k is make your own Space Marines chapter. I suppose, yeah, a year, 18 months. Okay, alright. Although, is the Iron Snakes an actual thing? There's a question. Hang on. Because I don't recognise them.
It's not a name I recognised either, so I'm going with... I probably should have researched this before, like a professional podcast, but again, professional podcast wouldn't be talking about Bullseye or Bernard Manning and the Comedians.
No, they are an actual thing. They've got a full wiki entry. Let's have a quick look. See, they were. They were in White Dwarf and everything.
Oh, disappointing.
Yeah, I just picked a random one.
Oh, it's nice that they picked one from the book, but yeah.
Okay, right. No, this gets me even more interesting. This is their first appearance. So you've got this, and Dan Abnett made them for Inferno issue 29, which, yeah, that would be just before this, actually. Dan Abnett, Guy Haley. Yeah, so they don't turn up in actual game until 6th edition. They're in here, and they turn up in 2 more stories in Warhammer Monthly. They're in Brothers of the Snake. Yeah, so mostly it's just Dan Abnett. He made them for a short story in Inferno issue 29, Crimson Storm, and they've just kind of appeared from there.
Excellent. Good.
So yeah, at this point, yeah, they're a made-up chapter.
Yeah, that's again, it's an odd one considering when we've talked about it, is they've not really done anything in any of the stories around a lot of any of the sort of named characters or the forces in it are just peripheral. Like even Blood Quest, you see Dante, you see Mephiston a couple of times, but you're kind of in and around rather than we're going to show you
a story of
any.
These. Yeah.
Well, you would have thought just for freedom, it's like we'll do our own. Even let's say Pick and Blood Quest, which again at the time the Blood Angels were kind of the poster boys for second ed on the box.
Yeah.
But obviously supplanted by Black Templars on 3rd edition.
Yeah. And then Ultramarines ever since.
Well, apart from Dark Vengeance kind of being Dark
Yeah.
Angels, technically, but yeah. Yeah, the Ultramarines, you can't make me care, James Workshop, no matter how hard you try. We're just all. But anyway, you've got, as say, and we've got a lexicanum of great potential. So, I know what a lexicanum is, but to your average reader, what's a lexicanum?
That's
He be one of the psychers of the chapter of the so he'll be part of the librarius.
Yes, that's actually a very, very good point. That's not described, or yeah. Considering how much we've just said about how the Seas of the Old World is a really good little primer on the world. Jumping straight into on the next page, having something like Lexicanum mentioned without any kind of description on it, that's a misstep. That's a massive misstep.
Well, it's not massive as it comes along, but it's just it's a point to note. It's like you have to be. It's one of the things that to go back to the aforementioned Jim Shooter earlier. Is like every issue is potentially someone's first issue.
Yes, exactly.
So there's stuff that you don't want to explain everything, because you want to then try and pull people in to go, I want to know more about it. But there's certain things that you kind of your basics, like I say, like Mark Waid was the master of that with the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't an issue where he didn't turn around and at least at some point have you go, I'm Wally West, I'm the fastest man alive, and a variation of it. So you know right away, the Flash is Wally West, he's faster than anybody on the planet.
Yes.
Job done. You don't have to go into lots of it, but just enough to kind of go, it's like, and when you just throw in-universe lore terms out, it alienates the casual reader.
Yeah.
Which is, it's the Mark Kemmel review of John Carter is the best thing about it, when he talks about you're just saying, here's so and so the Bingley Bongs. The Bingley Bongs is like it just becomes a noise to people. So, and again, you're going on to the next one, the accursed alien. The next page, the accursed alien Eldar who raided Sanzar, destroying the Imperial mining hives. Again, you're chucking terms in which can potentially go. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, it's even there in the dialogue. With me, fire team formation. You really could do with a little editor's note. And actually, has there ever been an editor's note in this?
No.
No, there hasn't, has there?
No.
Editor's note: fire team, a group of 5 Marines. A group of 10 Marines have been split into 2 teams of 5. Yeah, that's
Excuse me.
That's interesting, actually. That's really interesting that they've never had the editor's note.
Because it's the kind of thing that you would just go, do you want to know more? Buy a Warhammer 40k rulebook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even if you want to be cynical like that, as if you want to know more about how Space Marine formations. Even again, if your plan is this is to try and maybe get new players in, it doesn't, and it's not there. And again, as I say, if your plan is this is just a book for the people who are already buying it, then that's fine. They should know this.
Yeah.
But in saying that, there are enough people who don't play, who would pick one game and only play that. Like I know folk who just would not play 40k. Yeah, they weren't interested in it, and the same way it was like they didn't play fantasy because it wasn't as interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because different people have different interests and different things that they want to be doing. So, yeah, it's just a really weird one, and it's one I hadn't ever picked up on until just now. That at no point do you have a C Codex Space Marines Ed.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that was a choice that was made very early on, that they weren't going to be doing things like that. Yeah. God, we need to speak to an editor. I need to know these things. God damn it.
But they're basically, they're in a ravine, or as we like to call them, a kill box.
Yeah. They're in a hot box. The only Amiga garrison of Iron Snakes remained, commanded by Petrock. Watch your spacing. Be vigilant. We'd been sent to relieve them. Tactically, the ravine was the death trap. Yes. But I'd used my prescience to judge my actions. Making us seem vulnerable would draw the enemy out and into the range of our weapons. Now they show themselves. Open fire.
So, again, so we know at that point, again, he's pulled his card from Dark Millennium, he's got prescience, so it's fine. So it's an acceptable, no doubt. However, so again, if you know, that's a psyker.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just at that point, even just a little bit more about, I'd use my prescience, or as a member of the psychic, as a psychic space, a space marine blessed with psychic gifts and a member of the librarians, I drew upon my prescience.
Yeah. I use the Emperor's Tarot to guide our actions. You know, there's ways and means of getting that across. I will say though, how frickin' rogue traded do these Eldar look?
Yes. Oh, Paul Davidson's got a very nice. You can tell he's. This is not criticism. Anyone thinks it. You can tell he doesn't like using a straight edge.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I dig because I hate using them myself. I will freehand as much as I can like a mofo because I find it more interesting. But yes, this is probably out of all the strips we've had the closest feel to 40k in the books.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Not just rotary, but even the stuff in second edition. Just there's a sketchiness and an energy, a rough energy to them, which.
Very much so, very much so, and there's a lot of design aesthetic being taken as well from like that very early rogue trade. So it sounds really weird saying this in 1999. So third edition has now launched. The second half of Second Ed's life is different to its first half because it's through the journey of Second Ed that 40k solidifies, which then creates third edition, which is a very solidified version of 40k, and it's what the base of 40k is for going forward, for good or for ill. One of the things that happens there is that there's a design aesthetic to everything that doesn't really ever shift from, compared to what came before, where John Blanche's Space Marines did not look exactly like a Mark Gibbons Space Marines, who did not look like a, Ian Miller Space Marine. They are very, very different looks, and somehow this strip manages to get how early to mid 90s 40k felt. Yeah, it's got the brain feel of that era, and I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I was actually watching last night, which kind of very, very apt, was Mediocre Hobbies was talking about. He was repainting like one of his oldest models, like one from the Battle Force in like 2003 that's never been reissued, and talking about how like lots of people hate the Primaris era stuff and loads of folk prefer like the old metal and what have you. And pointing out that all the idiosyncrasies of hand casting in terms of things aren't uniform. One leg will be thinner, slightly thinner than the other, all that, and I think that's where it comes from. Is the minute they move to CAD design, you lose the charm. Its imperfections actually help.
Yes.
It's like one of the things about, for example, to bring it back to comics, if you are doing a crowd scene, or you're doing it where there's like multiple of the same thing, if you're smart, you'll do one or two and then you'll copy and paste and flip them round a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you're really smart, once you've done that, you'll go back into each of the other ones and just make some subtle changes. You'll just add a line, take a line out. It just makes it less uniform. Mm-hmm. Makes it feel more natural. Yeah. And that's... Now, again, the argument is that, all Space Marines will look the same because all the armour's produced the same in factories and forges and all that. But it's like, yes, but if you want like something that looks lived in, that's been used, there'll be imperfections, it'll be repaired, it'll be done, what have you. So it's where that sort of rougher aesthetic... I don't want to say feels more real, because that's stupid when you're talking about tiny little miniatures about guys, tiny little homunculi space fascists from the 41st millennium. Yes. But the variation and the imperfections make them feel more, as I say, real is probably the best, but makes it feel
weightier.
Like they are a thing.
Yes, yeah. They're not a concept as such. They become an actual physical object.
No, so the art here from Paul Staples is that, and again, it's also telling that this is like the way the Eldar are, that they're still a little bit more lithe, but again, at that point, there's still a bit of a looking at the panel where they're all jumping down, the ones in the back, and it's like there's an alienness to them, and I mean that more in the Geiger alien actually. Yeah, it very much feels that, but there's a violence to them, and which you kind of got more in Rogue Trader than you did in Second Ed. Second Ed did kind of try and put them from, these are the Eldar are. They became less feral, didn't they? Yeah. Whereas here you kind of have a little bit of a callback to that. It's like, no, they're just as bloodthirsty as anyone else. Mm-hmm. And you see that with the Eldar with the serrated combat knife. Yeah. not really an Eldar weapon.
Well, it's weird because it's more of a Drakari weapon, isn't it? It's a Dark Eldar. There's a real sense of the Eldar pirates from Rogue Trader in here, which are back in the days when they were space elves, not Eldar.
Yeah.
I do love the panel of the Elder getting his face melted off.
Yeah.
Oh.
By what looks like a lightsaber.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's meant to be like a null rod, but I'm not entirely sure because it's very tiny.
Yeah. Oh, size matters not.
Size matters not when none shall be surviving.
It's not about the size, it's about the girth. And that looks a perfectly cromulent null rod and girth.
Where's your null rod the shape of a doorknob? I ask no questions of the Emperor's mercy.
And so and again at that point you get the bit, it's like my mind probed for others hidden in the rock, but we were clear. So it's like, yeah, again, he's psychic. So it's established as it goes on. So it's, again, in terms of the overall story, it's fine. You can kind of get away with it, but it's an important point to note. It's like throwing terms out in universe terms. Work if you've got the people who are already invested in the universe, but if you want someone to read it for the first time, you lose them, potentially. Yeah. So we take the alien heretics long minutes to regroup. Our way to the garrison base was clear. So you see them all looking over the very sort of 40k fortress of Marines. It does. I kind of like these not really distinct ones because it does feel very much hewn into the STC, standard template construct stuff.
Yeah, there's something in the Space Marines that's always going to be here's a box with some outer boxes.
Yeah. And again, I know artists don't particularly always like that because you want sort of free reign to kind of come up with your own stuff, which I think he kind of does with the look of the Marines in terms of what we have here. But it is one of these things that it's, why does everything look kind of the same? Because that's what they do. Yes,
because it's military on an industrial level, on a cosmic industrial level.
Yeah. So and because they venerate the STC, and because they don't really invent new things until obviously Call and the Primara stuff.
Mm-hmm. There's two things about this panel about the when you see the bastion here. One is, so they were walking through a canyon and yet are above the bastion, the garrison base. So why would you build a garrison base so low down? Because that's really, really low down. You're asking for trouble there, like.
I would assume, to be honest, because if you're looking at an invasion, if I'm in a canyon, you're limiting orbital strikes, aerial craft.
Okay.
There's a good defensive position for that, and I'm assuming it's maybe not the only garrison that they've got.
No.
So it might be just a garrison. However, there's mileage in having one. Again, it's why dwarfs build everything under fucking ground.
No, that's because they're right-minded. It's
yeah.
The other thing that sprung to mind, of course, was, do you remember the old Rooster Teeth series, Red versus Blue?
Yeah.
No, why are we here? It's a good question. Why are we here? Are we here just to learn love, or are we just a biological problem? No, why are we here? Why are we at one end of the canyon with our base, and they're at the other end of the canyon with their base? When Nectar shouts out, and I don't know if it's the problem with the scan or what, but it took me a couple of attempts to read this line. It's Iron Snakes of Caribides, but I keep reading it as Iron Snakes of Cariboys.
Yeah, I think it's potentially the scan, so I could see it's being sort of Caribides, or however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, there's certain things in lettering where you have to be aware that putting certain words together, you have to be aware of the kerning. It's why, for example, the biggest one in particularly sound effect lettering, but in anywhere, is flick.
Yes, I was going to say flick.
It is why when the Coatbridge edgelord prick Mark Miller launched his magazine with comics, and his comic magazine on the newsstands in the early mid 2000s, he called it Clint.
Oh, jeez.
Let you work it out.
Of course he did. He wrote Streets
Yes.
of Rage, you know. It was really good.
Oh.
Oh,
When someone would edit his work, it was better. But obviously that ship has long since sailed.
Okay.
But anyway,
yeah.
so yeah, you can sometimes certain words kind of or certain ways of lettering can bleed in. So no, it does. I think it is the scan though. It does kind of feel like it's Cannibals. It's like,
Well, I mean, after being forced to watch K-pop Demon Hunters as much as I have, thanks to my son, we, by the way, celebrated the 25th day of since we first seen K-pop Demon Hunters by watching it for the 29th time. But because of that, Carry Boys is now a K-pop boy band in my brain.
yeah. So it's like, be of good heart. We're here to relieve your suffering. And then someone absolutely pisses on his cornflakes by going, Librarian Nectar. There is no one here.
Seal the gates, search the garrison. There is life here somewhere. I am sure of it. Nothing, sir. The wall cannons are set to automatic, as is this distress beacon. In the blockhouse are bioplasm units generating the semblance of life signs. The garrison has been rigged to seem as if it is still occupied. It is a trap, Lord Nectar. It's the second trap that we have in this story.
Yeah. So he takes off his helmet, and he's like, how could I have made a mistake like this? Was I getting old? I'd been so sure there were still brethren here on Zanzar to save. It seemed like I'd led my men into a trap, and that trap was about to close. As on the top of the garrison walls, one of the guys just goes, they come, Eldar all around, brace for attack. And it's like, so they brace for attack, in a very nice panel. He doesn't put his hat back on, which is a tactical blunder.
He just wants everyone to look at his haircut. That's all it is.
Yeah. And his fine beard.
It is a fine beard. You don't get enough Space Marines with beards.
It's not, if you get long enough as a Space Marine, do you get to have a non-standard Space Marine haircut? Because he is very much rocking the Prince Valiant / He-Man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he looks like King He-Man. You know, what King He-Man would have looked like if Prince Adam became king. It's
And got old.
Yeah. Look at those eyebrows. They are some serious attack eyebrows.
It is. But it's like, yep, it's like, just... But it's like, yes, I'm old, so I don't have to get the short back and sides, high top fade that you guys get. I get to pick my own haircut.
Also, I'm a librarian, so get fucked.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he just uses his psychic powers to convince the Iron Snake's chapter barber that he's actually had his hair cut.
You do not need to cut my hair.
No, he just got the guy doing it, but he's like 5 foot away from him, and so the guy's done it. He goes, we'll do this again sometime.
He thinks he's cutting his hair, but he's just shearing sheep. Ah, wool for the Iron Snakes.
Space Marines, an entire army of little brainwashed fascist men who all have haircuts that were given them by their mum. Look, I've got so many combat studs and decorated. I want to pick my own haircut? Get in the chair.
Well, unless you're Space Wolves, then it's just like, whatever, lad.
Well, I mean, they to be fair, they generally don't. They just, haircuts are not really a thing for them. But everyone else is just like, I want my own haircut. But to be fair, Space Wolves have the same problem. It's the other way around. It's like, but I want a short back and sides. You'll let your hair grow into an unruly mane to resemble a beast. I want a short back and sides.
Well, are you a scout? No, you're not. You can now grow a big man's hair.
It's like, what are you doing shaving that beard off, Marine? It's hair. The hair care of the 41st millennium for the Space Marines is not enough is done on that. There's a rich vein of material to be mined here.
I'll add it to my list of things that I am writing.
Again, it's like, can you not pick your own haircut? It's like, and again, I get you're in your helmets for most of the time, but once you're off, it's like, you know what? I fancy frosted tips.
I found this ancient Terran historical document that I really, really wish to employ into the Space Marine chapter. It is from the M2001. It's called Scooby-Doo.
But I mean, you think for example, like the any sort of, also like even not just them, but like the Chaos ones, like anyone like Emperor's Children and all that. It's like, yeah, you'll have metal haircuts.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean the Emperor's Children should all, at the very least, they should all look like Keith Flint from The Prodigy.
Or no, I know, I'd be saying like proper 80s new romantic bollocks.
Oh,
Like absolute haircut that takes like hours to do. It's like we can't go into battle right now. Why? Because it's just not set yet.
yeah, I just haven't finished preening and perming.
Yeah.
Oh man, that flock of seagulls haircut and the Emperor's
Exactly
Children.
that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
It's like hairstyles in the 41st millennium have regressed quite a lot, and it's like, again, it's like they all have rubbish haircuts.
Right, hang on, adding it to my to-do list. Haircuts in the 41st millennium. That's right. Here we go. That is now added to my list. I will now write some form of series of articles about haircuts in the 41st millennium.
Because even just look like the normal marine characters, they're all it's like even like Darkins, like Azrael's just got like, you know, your dad's haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Cypher's at least got the long hair.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But he does not go to see the barber on a regular basis. He is spending his time as far away from the rock as possible.
Exactly, but even the Lion's got again your Charles Dance haircut, because clearly he's Charles Dance.
Absolutely, he's Charles Dance. And I'm sure that's on purpose to try and get Charles Dance into the Amazon series in a flashback playing the Lion.
Yes, please Charles Dance.
Come on. Although I do wish to see the Lion do the entire "I've just shot somebody and I wish to confess."
Yeah. But we digress. So the Eldar are about to approach, and there were hundreds of the foe, no doubt the entire raiding force, waiting in secret until we'd taken the bait. So we began the litanies of battle, rousing my men with the holy chants so that they would achieve all in their power before death overtook them. And as you can see, it's just that the Marines on top of the wall just shooting as jet bikes, explosions.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a mess in this one, but by deliberate. But you can, looking at it, you can see it looks like a couple of warp spiders in the bottom down there.
Yep.
In the fight.
It looks like there's an Exarch in there as well, because he's got the big spiny bits, which is really weird. Swooping Hawks up at the top. I think it does a good job of getting the chaos of the situation across. But the thing that makes me really happy is you've got the old-fashioned War Walker. You know, the one with the guy who's just a sitting target right in the middle.
Yeah, I always loved that. It was just like, it's like, where are we going to aim for? Aim for the head, the head of that guy. What with? It's like
rocks. Just
I'm trying to remember though, but and that was the old AP rules back in the day though for that. So the war, it was about your hit location once you got it. So but it's like last cannon to Warwalker. Fuck off.
It just always makes me happy when I see it. It's like, oh no, you
it's like I'm going to mark now, and it's like I'm piloting this, and okay, and you are basically the exposed. Like, wait, well, we can always get another Eldar, but building another Walker is going to cost us a bit. So you know what? Let's put some. And it needs to be light, so we can't really have any additional armor on it. That would slow it down, and it would mean it would be less effective in combat. So what do you want to do? Well, I've got this bulletproof, well, not bulletproof as such, bullet absorbent material. What is it? It's called an Eldar. Stick him in. If he takes a bolt around, it will stay in him. It shouldn't damage the rest of the World Walker. So if he dies, we can salvage it. Like you're thinking.
Okay.
It's
an on-purpose target. It is the Robin of this series, where to be aimed at. Yeah.
It's very much if they make the Eldar version of Hot Shots, you have just Dead Meat is the one who is getting to pilot the Warwalker.
Yeah.
The guys call me Dead Meat. I don't know why. You got the Warwalker, right? Yeah, that's why. I don't follow. It's like, it's all right. You don't need to. We won't see you after this battle. Why are you going elsewhere? No, we're just coming back. You won't. I don't follow. That's all right. It won't be mostly for you long. Why? Because you'll be dead.
I quite like the idea of the Elder getting into that. It's like, oh, at last, no more foot slogging our way across the tundra. I no longer have to worry about running. I can sit up here and have my big cannons, and me, only 3 days from retirement, about to marry my true wife.
Yeah. So we now see the advance of the Eldar, and then the next page we find out that the trap was sprung, but not the trap we're thinking of, because all of a sudden, from the dirt surrounding the garrison, a whole host of Space Marines start digging their way up and shooting the Eldar in the backs in that most steadfast and honourable and effective way. Kill them when they're not looking. Best way to win the film.
Wait until your enemy's back is turned.
Yeah. And you see them making mincemeat of it, and there's another unmasked Space Marine with a force sword. So if you know, he's another psychic. Mm-hmm. And you can see the eyes of Nectar sort of widen a little bit, clearly intimating, I've twigged who he is now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trap, which leads to a trap, which leads to a trap. The triple trap.
And the Lexicon tells them, it's like, yeah, forgive me, Chief Librarian, but I wanted to lure them all out into the open so that we might strike decisively. We lay in concealment. It was vital your efforts to rescue the garrison looked believable. They had to be confident enough to show the full force. It's a brilliant, risky strategy. Had I not used a version of the same subterfuge when I led my men at the ravine to draw the Elder out, Petrock had the wit and the daring to try it on a grander scale. His insight had not just won a battle, but it crushed the raiders entirely and liberated Sanzar. From that day I knew I should watch the young Petrock closely. There was glory in him, glory I could only guess at. From the recollections of Nectar, Chief Librarian of Dire Snakes, Caribinus, 446 M41.
The end. And the beginning. So, yeah, it turns out that these guys are going to turn up 2 more times, and they're going to be in a load of Darknet short stories and various books. So, I might have to dig some of those books out and just to see where the Iron Snakes end up, and if Petrock ends up being the main character. Petrock with his Samurai Showdown hairdo, by the way.
It's also worth looking at if you look at very closely in the panel when he talks about we lay in concealment. Look at the way the teeth are drawn. It's almost a little bit fangy.
Oh yeah.
Not 100% obvious space rules, but just there's a little touch of that feels. Maybe are you hinting at?
Yeah, these. Well, it explains the hairdo if they're not 100% Codex compliant.
Yeah. I would also like to point out that the Chief Librarian's big snake hood over his hood. That's a very impractically positioned set of fangs, which is only going to get you killed.
Yep. If you sneeze, you have just driven 2 snake fangs right into your brain.
So,
I don't know. There's something about this librarian that makes me think that the reason he's leading this mission is because they just wanted to get rid of him. They just didn't want him hanging around.
He's bound to be one of these mad bastards that'll be like sucking venom out of a snake.
Yeah.
Shots about it, but one of these mad fuckers.
He's got that look about him. He's got the type of person that's like, oh, I'm off to milk my goats. We're on a atmosphereless asteroid. Why do you have goats? They're just carrying these dead goats floating in the void. He's clearly been on some shrooms as well. It's like none of this happens. He's actually just sitting in a chair looking out of a window, titting his face off on shrooms.
Yeah. Very, very much into as close to counterculture as a Marine Elver will get.
Oh man, I do find it funny that because of the way his eyebrows look, it does look like he's got really uneven hair. So his fringe is incredibly uneven.
Yeah.
I mean, all in all, there's nothing wrong with this as such. It's a fairly nice, very concise story. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it for what it is. It doesn't. It's nothing that I would jump at.
No, it's solid enough. The art is the thing that really gets it for me. It's just that, as I said, it harkens back to the slightly 40k with the rougher edges.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which whatever your thoughts are, and I think I touched on when I talked last episode about how artists are kind of the same thing. Is like the rough edges are kind of part of what makes it enjoyable. When you take away the rough edges, you take something away from that as well, as it becomes more polished.
Yeah, so a lot of the character kind of gets rubbed out, for want of a better term. And there is something about this. I mean, there's a couple of sequences like the Marine that's doing the garrison has been rigged to seem as if it is still occupied. It is a trap, Lord Nectar. And the way that the face is angled, it looks like he's got that quite anime one big eye. And it's just the way that it's come together. But I've got no issues with that. It works. It tells the story. It's nice. I really, really like the art. And the story is perfectly serviceable. I've got multiple questions about Nectar's hair and various eyebrow problems.
Again, it is, like I say, it's just that Space Marines, given that you're the elite of humanity, or post-humanity technically, is like... apparently, of all the many freedoms in the 41st millennium that you've had to sacrifice, is the freedom to cut your own hair. Yep. Like you will have the Marine haircut. Can I have something else? Yes. What's it called? Execution.
It's a little off the top or a little off the top. Which do you want?
Yeah, this much off the top or this much off the top. Down your neck. What's it going to be? I'll take that then.
So, moving on then, we're into Zero Option, our second script by Dan Abnett, art and letters by David Pugh. And we are on the Imperial Outpost 492 on a frozen wilderness known as Balos Alpha. For a month now, the Imperial Guards of the 5th Thriatian Regiment have been under siege. For Commissar Holm, it is a question of what will get them first, the Orc Army or the Bitter Cold. I got really excited, and then I realised that it's actually Commissar Holt in Final Liberation, the amazing PC game, not Commissar Holm. And I was like, oh man, could it be? But it isn't. So I was very upset. The Imperial Guardsmen are very upset about the fact that it is ridiculously cold and they are fighting orcs. You've got a choice. We can starve, we can freeze, or we can be butchered. Were you born without a spine, or did you just lose it on the way? We are out of options, except for the one simple fact that we must fight. But then, from the sky, drops Marines in black armour. They come forward they shoot away the Black Templars in their, obviously 3rd edition's just out now, so the Black Templars are becoming the poster boys of 40k. They drop in, they drop in, decimate the orcs completely, holding the orcs long enough for a counter-strike. It must have taken a lot to keep your men focused. We did what we had to do. They are all here, the only ones that the cold did not get. We left them where they froze. The appearance of numbers was all that kept the orcs at bay. Guardsmen serve the Emperor with their lives, and sometimes even with their deaths. The end. Because all of the Marines have frozen to death, except for the few that were on the top of the wall having a conversation. Yeah, that's it. That's the story. The art's nice.
Inconsequential fluff, which just hammers home kind of commissars are horrible cunts.
Yeah.
Even though we love Yarrick, horrible cunt.
Yep. Yarrick and Commissar Kane. Commissar Kane's great. Yeah.
Still horrible.
It's still part of a horrible machine. It's as I say, there's not much else to it. It's most of the guardsmen had frozen to death, so they're all placed on the walls to make it look like it was a full garrison. That stopped the orcs from doing a full attack. That's not how orcs work.
Classic battle strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but it's not how orcs work. If the better thing to do would be to make it look like you didn't have anybody there, then the orcs would just leave you alone because you weren't worth the fight. Yeah, just I don't know. It's nothing. It's it's nice art, but a big heap of nothing. So
yeah.
Speaking of a big heap of nothing, shall we get into Darkblade Book 2, Part 5, The Court of the Dark Prince?
Yes. So we're told that for months Malus Darkblade has quested in the wastelands of chaos to recover his soul from the rank demon Zarkan. He follows the prophecies of the Orb of Malkin, a deceitful trinket that is not as candid in its foretelling as he would have liked, has led him here to a place where he might learn the demon's whereabouts. But instead he finds nothing. Curse you, Bauble, you showed me this palace as a thriving court, bustling with decadent worshippers of chaos from whom I might extract some words of Zarkan's doings. but this place is dead and has been for years. What do you say to that now? Pah, nothing but a dark silence. You're worthless. So, script by Dan Abnett, art by Kev Hopgood. We're not being told who the letters are, but I'm assuming it's possibly Gordon Robson again.
Yeah.
However,
I guess.
so here in the first page is, it basically sums up the biggest problem you have with Darkblade, which is he arrives at a place and we're being told why he's arriving at a place for things that happened off panel, haven't been done right in the last issue, but unintentionally. A great bit of lettering that makes me laugh is if you actually look at the way the lettering on the last panel is butted, it almost looks like Spite is actually saying that. Okay.
All right, I'm going for that as a thing. Spite has only spoken once. He can speak, and he only says this. And he's not talking to the globe, he's talking to Malice himself.
Yeah. It's not clearly, but it's just the angling of it makes it look kind of like this. So,
I like that.
So you get the evening, Malice is resting for the night, and then he'll press on in the morning. So he set a fire, and he's away to sleep. And then all of a sudden he wakes up. He doesn't know what hour of the night it is, but when he wakes with a start, at first he isn't even sure what has roused him. But then he realises that the sound of running water. And there's a fountain, which, how can this be? It's now got water in it. It's like, by the Witch King, how can any of this be? And all of a sudden he sees there's a gateway, and there's the Mark of Cain, and there's some various statues. All your classic gothic big bats and chaps with swords and dark elf witch maiden type things, women with what looks like potentially swords as well. He's like, am I still dreaming, or has my mind run mad? And there's also got the many-pointed star of chaos. Thank you, Michael Moorcock. And then just from behind him, as he's walking off, it's like, it's neither dream nor madness, noble Druchii. And all of a sudden, there's loads of folk standing around. And he's like, welcome to my court.
Now,
he's like,
it's funny you mentioned Michael Moorcock, because how Michael Moorcockian is that panel?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 100%. It's Elric or any other Eternal Champion aspect about to walk into a Chaos Fortress.
Yeah, but there's something about the fashion of them as well. You know, the fashion of these night elves. They are, well, they're not elves at all. But yeah, there's something so Moorcockian about the way they're all dressed. It's an interesting one I can't quite get my finger on.
It's like, who are you? It's like, I am Prince Ezreal, master of the palace. I bid you welcome. Put away your sword. It is long since we've had a visitor, and I sense you've come here in search for answers. And this Darkblade's like, this place was a ruin when I rode in. How is it remade so? It's like, only in the hours of darkness does my court convene. We shun the light. Come eat and drink with us. It's like, no, nothing good's going to come of this.
Yes. Well, maybe if he eats the food, he'll join their court, and we can go and join a different story.
Yeah, I mean, at best they're vampires.
Yes. Yeah.
At this point, but Malice crave answers, so he joins them warily, knowing that if all turns bad, he will only have to defend himself until sunrise. Good point. Mm-hmm. Friends, courtiers, welcome our guests. Welcome the noble warrior Malice Darkblade. And it's like, after months of hardship, Malice is so astonished that the luxury and comfort offered him, he does not even question how the prince already knows his name. So there's Dan telling us something's fishy going on.
Yep.
In case you know already.
In case you hadn't already worked that one out.
Yeah.
The nature of my verse is probably not for your hearing. I doubt one such as you would relish the doom I have planned for him. Well, we acknowledge all the lords of chaos, and from them we derive our power and luxury, but they are vile, untrustworthy creatures, and I do not care what befalls any of them.
And then we get our info dump, so...
Yep.
For I know for a fact that Zarkan and his armies he now controls are active many leagues from here in the desert, beyond the crags of fire and ice. They are raising a city in his honour. Then at last my journey has a focus.
I mean, it's nice of you coming to agree with us.
Yeah. Indeed, my friend, but I think it's perhaps time you set aside your weary quest. Stay with us and become part of the court. What? It's like, I knew that sooner or later your dark designs would manifest. To be fair, not a dark design technically based on what he said. He's just saying, he's saying maybe just didn't bother.
Yeah.
Hang around.
Aye, get
Have some food to drink.
Yeah,
Get a bit of shagging on. It's all good.
Wine and dine, it's all good.
It's like, I will not stay here, and when the sun rises and carries you all away, I will ride on alone.
No,
Like,
you don't understand. You are now here forever. The evening was a threshold into darkness that brought you into my court. Now you are here. The sun will never rise again. Come, another drink.
That's the best bit in the strip.
Yeah.
And I just, come, another drink.
I do feel that the no that Mella says when he knocks the drink out of his hand, it shouldn't be a no. It needs to be some kind of more guttural yeah type noise.
Yeah. It's like, you cannot deny us. You have entered the dark and there is no way out. Embrace the night. Join my court. And it's like, at that point, Malus does the thing that he's doing, which is he legs it.
Yep.
And it's like, Malus yearning for the freedom of the daylight to take him from this nightmare. Then he realises that dawn should have come hours since. This is the darkness the treacherous orb foretold. Next, night without end.
My God, we're actually getting a story that's going to run into the next one.
What we also have is the first bit of actual jeopardy
Yes,
in a new Darkblade appearance.
absolutely. And you know what's weird? This is my favourite Darkblade strip to date.
Yep. It is, I say, the most entertaining it's been ever.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The fact that you've got an actual story taking place here rather than Malice appears and disappears. He's not just riding roughshod over a problem. Yeah, this is something
Again, yeah,
he can't just get out of.
it's the first time he's been outclassed.
Yeah.
Every previous instance has been, oh yeah, how are you going to get out of it? Yeah. Nope. You're here with people that are clearly more powerful than you as it stands. You're fucked.
Yep. I hate to say it, but I'm genuinely interested to see what the next issue brings.
Because the Darkblade has been such a rich vein of disappointment so far, I'm not getting my hopes up too much.
No, but I'm interested to see how it sticks the landing from this.
Yeah.
The chances are, Darkblade being Darkblade, it won't stick the landing. It'll fall off the platform and fall into the jelly beneath. But we can but hope that maybe this is the point where Darkblade starts being something. Which is way too late to do it, but...
I mean, it is the hope that kills you.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, realising the dawn should have come hours ago, yeah. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, as we said, the art is always top drawer from Kevin.
Yeah, just all in all, Hopgood's art, it's impeachable. I love the look of the city. I love these big statues and the skull-faced maidens and the giant gothic bats and everything. It's just, ooh, yes. That's my cup of tea right there.
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny actually, because Darkblade actually got better, there isn't a huge amount to say about it. It's a really weird situation.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you finally put him against a threat that he's completely outclassed and that there's no, and because it's like, oh shit, this is gonna have to continue to the next part. So again, we've been told what's gonna happen so I can it's gonna end with him arriving at this big city.
Yeah.
Book 2, I'm calling him now. He'll arrive at the big city, and I'm gonna predict he ends up in the cells. That's how I think Book 2 will end.
I have a feeling that Book 2 is going to end with him being back in the service of the demon. And it's going to be, for whatever reason, maybe he kills the demon and takes his power, but that doesn't work and he ends up in the service, or he's given there's a choice where it's either die or he and the demon are coexisting again. I've got a feeling that by the end of this, to go to book 3, him and the demon are back together.
No, I'm calling it. I think he ends up in cells.
Fair enough.
He'll be in the city. He'll be in the city, and he'll probably just end up in the cells. And it'll be how he'll get out in part 3, and then that'll be the.
Yeah.
But yeah, a solid installment from Darkblade, which is again the best strip it's had so far.
Yeah, very much agreed. And it's a weird one because, as I say, because it's improved. There's not much you can say about it. It's like, yeah, that was all right. Good stuff.
Yep. So we'll find out again, because this is part 4. I think we'll probably only get another couple of installments. Hence why I don't think he'll be in service of the demon. It'll be too quick to do that.
Yeah. No, I was more meaning it by the end of book 3. He'll be back in service with the demon. Right, so we're going to do a very, very quick overview of Redeemer. So this is issue 20, Redeemer Special, the second epistle. I don't really see much point in trying to go into too much detail in the story. But I think it's worth kind of just doing a breakdown of how we kind of found it more than anything else, because the story is non-existent. So
to do the synopsis, you basically have again his idiot substitute brother Micron is your narrator.
Mm-hmm.
And they find a settlement which has been devastated by the collar. So he clearly started that. He's ranting and raving about torture devices that he wants to use for it, and it turns out there's a spirit dance going on as the Ratskins elsewhere are starting to do it. He's got the calling has is Legion of Doom, if you will, Justice League Super Friends reference for those know, and he's basically got some scalies, various dispossessed Ratskins, and some guy that can reanimate the dead. The emissary of Karloth Valois, master of plague zombies.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing anything. He's not all in until the Redeemer gets killed.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I kill the Redeemer, will you support us? And he's like, I will do it. So the collar unleashes some magic as he does, and there's a hivequake. And so the Pulpitech gets lost, and he's like, Redeemer's like, bail out, get all your tools with you. And underneath in the hivequake, so there's sludge coming up and sludge jellies, which are not lovely sweeties as you might suggest, but basically horrible tentacle things. And then the Redeemer sees Malekith in danger, goes, I've got to rescue him, because he's got the Liber Excruciatus. It's like, I can't let him die, he's got my porn collection. And as this is going on, in the flames, the collar is showing all this going on, and he says, sees it proof, then he ends it. So he ends it before what happens next. So the plague zombies are on board. The Redeemer goes underwater, and he tries to get the book off the back of Malekith. So it's clear he is just only there for the book.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't get it off. He saves him as well. Yeah, again, just so. And he's like, Malekith's like, oh, thanks very much, I'm miserable, blah blah. He's like, yes, it's true, I'm the most merciful of men, as he kind of eye rolls to his head. You get a nice little bit about denizens of the Underhive, a nice bit of background about the Ratskins, the zombies and scalies, which is, again, really, context and great.
Yep, really like it. I will say as well, it makes me happy to see Valois turn up, because I do love Karloth Valois. That's a great joke and a great character.
Yep. Well, strictly speaking, this is the emissary of Karloth. Well, we don't seem so.
No.
As they're going through the Underhive bit, they go over a grating and there's a set of eyes looking up. It's like, woo. Just at that, Brother Berkrak goes to Deacon Malekith and says, "Can I speak to you in confidence? My words must go no further. It pains me to say this, but I followed our beloved Redeemer on many a purging, but now I fear he's afflicted with a distemper of the mind. It's like, continue our mission without the weapons of the Pulpitech, his insanity will surely finish it. Let's face it, our Lord is off with the Sumpsiders." but this is strictly between the two of us, you understand? It's like, you can rely on my discretion. It's like, yeah, can we? And then as they're going, it's like, we must make plans to relieve him of command and appoint a new Redeemer. I would humbly accept that responsibility. So, yeah, it's all... Yeah. And one of them number gets attacked by the plague zombie from the grating. And gets pulled down. And I say, plague zombies. Shall we pursue? And it's like, not yet. Zombies hunt in packs, so we need to know how many there are. Malachi, switch on your bioscanner. Which he does. And it's like, there's 10 zombies directly below them. They must be cleansed. Any volunteers for this holy work? How about you, brother Bearcrack? Would you humbly accept this glorious mission? Clearly, the Redeemer knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see Not Micron in the background laughing.
Yeah, it's like, you do me much honour, Redeemer, I'm not worthy. True, but you're still going. And it's like, but of course we would not ask you to do this alone, would we, Deacon Malakev? So he sends the two of them down there. Again, this is just there's the matter of your past sins and the crane incident when you nearly killed me. You didn't think I'd forgotten, did you?
Oh,
and it's like, as they're down there, he's got a very nice, looks like an assault cannon or auto cannon. It's like, told you, you little runt. He's totally lost the plot. It's like, I still have faith. Whole host of zombies, and the emissaries of the back just going, kill. And he's like, to start praying as he basically just empties round after round on the zombie. He's like, the wee guy just goes, Malcolm goes, I'll warn you, you'll regret this. The Redeemer's my friend.
And the caller is mine.
Kill the little one. And then all of a sudden, he's about to die, and then the Redeemer appears with Scourge and Purge. And it's like, the accursed Redeemer still lives. It's cleansing time. And then he just starts hacking his way through them. It's like, destroy him, he's only one man. I, one man, but I am filled with the fire of redemption. I have the armour of plot invincibility right now. The all-cleansing fire that will save Necromunda. And he takes the emissary hostage. It's like, harm me at your peril, sir. I am Feron Ver, emissary of Karloth Falah, master of plague zombies. Fine titles, but to me you're just a deviant who's going to lead me to the collar. And then he basically drags him up. He's about to do his work, and then basically reasserts the authority. Is there anyone who doubts my sanity or fitness to lead the crusade? So that should end part 2. Chapter 3 begins with there's a map conveniently on someone's chest with a nice touch.
This is my favourite part of this entire thing. It's a map tattooed on somebody's chest, and the names are fantastic. Yeah, Gilder's Gulch, Whitebone Road, Freaksville, Hunger Scree, the Slurry,
Beauty Spring.
Yeah.
And then the best one, my favourite is lifts.
Yes. They just point up.
Which is where they're going. So they're heading to some city in the lifts to the heart of the Underhive. Mm-hmm. So he's tracing his journey using the tip of a knife, and then when he gets to it, he just buries it in the chest. And it's like, thank you, Mayor. So you've either got the Mayor has had that map tattooed on his chest, or they've just done it on it.
Yeah.
You know, Vance.
It's just... Oh, alright, fair enough.
And then you've got basically, the collar's now just barking orders like, tell your force to be ready, we must push on before the Hivers can retaliate. And it's like, the scale is like, they're busy pillaging right now, Collar, but once they're finished. And then all of a sudden one of the zombies starts to shuffle, and it's like, it's a plague zombie. It's like, what the frag's it doing here? It's like, the Collar's like, so mindless one, go mindless one, there's nothing for you here. And the boy's like, I'm only using this corpse to communicate, Collar. This is Feron Ver. I'm speaking to you from the ancient trail near Hunger Scree. I've been captured by the Redeemer, and you cut to the Redeemer being torturing him, and Feron doesn't look smug, but he's not really in any pain either.
No, he's too dead for that.
Yes, it's like he can't torture him, so he's then looking at. If he then thinks at this point, he's more concerned about torture, so he can find the Collar. It's like, but if I can halt the decay rampant within the Ver's dead flesh, I can reanimate him and then torture him. So they get some of Brood's medicine from his rat skin skills, and this should stimulate the growth of new flesh. Soon you'll be clean and whole again, deviant filth. Then I'm throwing the book at you, and you've got I like the art is fantastic. Though, just it's the Brother Malakav is comically demented,
Yes.
but
I do love the art, you know, the things that you're seeing them use, like the lawnmower that's just made of knives and stuff like that. It's very, very silly.
yeah, the big horse steaming syringe with a spike at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just about to inject him with this, and then he'll do it, and it's like, your mission's over, Redeemer. It's like, and he turns around, and you've got the Alliance are all there ready to get him, and the big Scaly just jumps it, and they're about to. So, big massive fight.
Yep. Yep. Chops the Redeemer's. Well, no, he doesn't. It looked like he chopped the Redeemer's chainsaw, but it's just the way that
He's missed.
the axe comes down. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the call failed, I will succeed. In your fetid dreams, deviant.
And then one of the Ratskins hurls down some gas fungi, and the spores just knock them all out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Ferron just goes, I have no idea as yet how you will suffer for humiliating the emissary of Karloth, blah, blah, Lord of the Dead, but I'm sure I'll think of something. Again, just this, it's like, it reminds me of 90s X-Men and Psylocke dialogue. Every time she tells about to use her psychic blade, which is the focus totality of her telepathic powers. Take 2 drinks.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the purple prose is completely on display here.
Yeah. So we then get a break to talk. We get an interview with Debbie Gallagher.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like the previous writer interview, it's actually quite a genuine one rather than the usual sort of piece I'm trying to pose. Talks about how she met Pat Mills and he liked her work because she was writing about how difficult it was to get stuff published, and he offered help, which is kind of a thing Pat is known for. If Pat likes your work, he will go to bat for you and he will help you. So,
which is something we've heard over the years. Yeah, it's I quite like this interview because it is as you said, it's a real one. It's not just having a go at creating the why you should be buying this. Yeah, here is the person behind the work.
Yeah, this is you're getting genuine answers. Again, it's talking about she talks about the influence of Wayne's sketches on how the character came about would end up being. So
the Jack Nicholson smile, which is quite a nice little bit that they're talking about. I do like the fact that Alan Rickman is the Redeemer. That's fair enough. I think that would be a bit of a shame, but okay. Somebody doing an Alan Rickman impersonation, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get into the final part.
Yes. Well, the final part for now.
Yes.
So the Redeemer's been captured, and they're all like they're being held, and all you hear is the crowd at the back going, "Wake the rat," which is some kind of euphemism. Have you woken the rat? How very dare you, sir?
Woken the rat here in my house
at 3 a.m. What were they? So basically, it's a massive rat skin sanctuary, and it's the Collar's place of prayer, and probably where he found the gem that he's got. And so the cult of the all-devouring rat god was made outcast by most rat skin tribes 100 years ago. Yeah. I'm sure you can see why. And there's this skeleton of a giant rat.
Mm-hmm. We see you.
So in the pit, they chuck the Redeemer into the pit. Seal him in the pit, and Redeemer's at that point going, he's got in manacles as well, and he's like, I'm not impressed, Ver, even a rat god can't survive without food. And at that point,
faith, Redeemer, why do you think they let me come here? I'm sure you know the favourite of Karloth Velai can drain life essence. What you might not be aware of is that some folks can reverse the process. Scree!
Yeah, so he basically takes the life essence of some of the Redeemer's pals, not brother Malakav, and reanimates the rat god. So flesh grows on the bones. It gets an eye, teeth. It starts to go. So as it bites down, Redeemer holds up his manacles so it bites through them.
Mm-hmm. Smart thinking.
Yep. and then snaps off a rib from the rat god, and uses it to remove as a lever so he can get rid of the slab that's holding him down.
Mm-hmm.
Climbs out, and of course the rat god is just behind him. So the minute the rat god's up, it's very indiscriminate in who it kills, so it's going for the closest to them.
Yep, yeah, it's just eating all and sundry, including the people who were worshipping it.
And so he just grabs Ferranvur, and he just goes, "Take heed, heretic, I forgive your sins," and lobs him in the direction of the gaping maw of the rat god, who then proceeds to devour him with much enthusiasm and gusto.
Alright, scrunch. Eventually, the maimed stopped screaming, and the rat god lumbered off into the tunnels, and our beloved Redeemer rescued us. Praise be. Yes, a magnificent performance, man. Remind me to take you on my next crusade. Yeah.
And so he ushers the rats into, "Come here, brood," who's like, "Oh, don't hurt me." He's like, "Just translate the primitive doodles." He's like, "I dare not, lord. They're the secret writings of the caller. To translate them would be death." And again, we have the usual pantomime threat of physical violence if he doesn't do, at which point he does what he's told. And it's like, "At the place of many merchants beyond the way of the old machines, there's the magic of the spider goddess." It's just moving on. "The spider goddess will meet the medicine of the rat god, then the spire shall quake and fall." It's like, he must mean Gilder's Gulch beyond Cyber Pass. That's where the caller is going and where he plans to destroy Necromunda. To be continued. And you get a thing of the caller on his knees doing the big power pose, and then you've got the spire in flames, falling as some kind of spider shape encircles it.
Yep.
Aye.
Yeah. It's...
The thing is, on the face of it, because we got all the anger out of our system last issue.
Very much so, yeah.
There's no bile to reading this. It's like, it's perfectly serviceable, but it's just... It's all surface. There's no... Before we were talking about it, it was just like, it's the surface reading of Nemesis the Warlock if you don't pay any attention to it. It's like your Guardian critics looking down the nose on comics opinion of it from back in the day.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The art does a hell of a lot in order to get the punchy nature of the script. And honestly, I think if it wasn't for this art, I don't think anybody would remember Redeemer at all.
No, or you would remember it, and it would be like, oh yeah, it was kind of like if Torquemada was the hero of the Nemesis book, but less interesting because you're just getting the slogans, the buzzwords, and the actions without any of the social commentary behind it.
Yeah.
And as we touched on last time, there's a wealth you can do in the setting of Necromunda.
Absolutely.
Any of the hive worlds in terms of that class system, that caste system, and how people rejecting it and going to the Underhive, or the ones from the Underhive that are trying to climb out of it. So much there.
I mean, Necromunda is the perfect setting in order to examine social structure in the 41st millennium. You know, you have it all based on one planet, and it's one area of one planet in a lot of the ways. And you can get a microcosm, and you can do all sorts with it. And this doesn't. And it sounds like a really weird thing because nothing else does it as well. But because this is constantly calling back to Nemesis the Warlock, you can't help but feel that there should be more to it. Yeah. If this didn't call back as much, I wouldn't get as annoyed. It would just be, yep, that's a thing.
It's, as an action adventure strip, it's breezy. It's, like I say, there's nothing wrong with it. It's the fact that the Nemesis shadow and the fact that you can clearly see the bits that Pat is recycling.
Yeah.
In there. It's like, no, there's more that could be done here.
Yeah, just having a cut price, beware, be vigilant, behave in the Scourge and Purge. I mean, that's the thing. Scourge and Purge isn't a bad thing in and of itself. It's just it's hitting the two-headed problem of it is just Torquemada but less interesting, and not having enough of a foundation to stand on. Yeah,
and that's it. Like I say, the art's fantastic. Wayne Reynolds knows when to be cartoony, which is great. Again, Malakev is a ridiculous-looking character, and he plays it up perfectly. I can't fault the art at all. In terms of the actual mechanics of the story, it does a better job than a lot of them in terms of getting the pacing right and getting the jeopardy, because insulated away that there is an element of, we know he's not going to die, so you're going a little bit over the top. So it kind of works in that way, in a way that the Darkblade just can't.
Yeah.
Because clearly Pat's not taking this too seriously.
No,
but obviously, and which is no bad thing, and there's not going. But it's just when you keep calling back to your earlier work, but you're not giving us the substance that goes along with it. I can't help but just go, you could do better. Now, if this is by design, it's doing what it needs to do. Fair enough. But I can't help but look at it and go, there's a bit. You could still do this and have a better story in there.
Absolutely, and the problem is that the death of the author is very much on display here. You know, that whatever the original idea was, or whatever the concept was, or whatever the idea was that brought him to come and do this, the fact is on the page it doesn't work. Because of who it is, and because of the callbacks it's constantly got.
Yeah.
I want to like it more. That's the thing that annoys me, I think, here. I want to like this more. Because there's stuff in here I like.
Yes, there's nice touches, and they say that's the problem. I would genuinely love if anyone who's listening to it, if you experience this without any knowledge of Nemesis. Because, like I say, this is coloured by my experience of Pat Mills, the writer. So I'm already familiar with his work. So the minute he started doing that, I was like, oh yeah, that's that, and it's the checklist, and and writers recycle their work all the time. This is not a bad thing, but it's more, Pat, you've got so much you could recycle from as well. Could you not cut all of it? You could not necessarily lean into all of it, but it is the fact that this is very much, this is Torquemada.
Yeah,
it's not just there's bits of Torquemada.
No, it's just fully fledged Torquemada with a new hat.
Yeah, and without a wife.
Yes. In some cases, with a body.
But that's the thing. It's the fact it's so taken and just transplanted without any of the meat of the bones or the substance and social commentary that's elevated Nemesis. As I said, genuinely go and get the reprints of Nemesis right now. Like, say, your mileage may vary on the later stories towards the end. The ending is brilliant because it's absolutely perfect. However, right up to book 9 is gold, because book 9 has the whole part where they realise there is no difference between Nemesis and Torquemada.
Yeah.
Each are pushing their own agenda, but there's like I say, Pat, when Pat's on form, Pat's brilliant.
Oh, absolutely, and he's always been that way. Yeah.
And that is the thing. We know there are bad writers or serviceable writers, or Brandon Choi and Eric Silvestri. I'm digging Image because they are two of the most rotten writers that had a career for any length of time.
Silvestri was the first person in comics that I saw. I remember having the name and going, nope, I am not reading that. Yeah.
Brother of Mark, the talented artist, and writer of a great deal of Cyberforce. Imagine X-Men if they were cyborgs and not fucking interesting. I don't need to imagine. I've read it all. Brandon Toy, co-writer on Wildcats for a while. Imagine the X-Men if they were a mix of alien half-breeds, one cyborg and an Amazon. Don't need to imagine. I've read it. Also, wait till Alan Moore takes over the book, and then it's good.
Absolutely. No, it's imagine the X-Men, and now imagine if the X-Men were the Justice League. That's
basically almost every Image team book is imagine the X-Men but.
Yeah, no,
and none of it. But the but never follows war. Interesting, good, different.
Yeah,
it's basically imagine this derivation of the X-Men with absolutely no fucking originality. Do we have a Wolverine analog? Yes. What's he got? Does he have claws? No. His hands are the claws. All right. But they can change shape to become longer and big stabbier. Ooh, I like that. What are his? The big jaggy fingers. Azrael will use them when he becomes Batman. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And we also have a guy who just looks like a tiny Wolverine anyway. He's like Wolverine but shorter.
Oh, you mean from Youngblood, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
coming back. Rob bringing them back again.
Yep, because that man will always go back to the well.
But as we see, that it's the thing that you, like, if it's a bad writer, you kind of go, right, fine, I might have to suffer this because there's an artist I like doing the book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you've got a writer who is capable more, and you see them delivering. Again, it's the same with kind of similar to Dan Abnett with Darkblade. It's like, Dan, you do good work.
Yeah, you are
Just
so
not
much
doing
better
it
than
here.
this. Yeah, for whatever reason, Darkblade is a just shoot it in series for him, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it just, yeah. So we are two-thirds of the way through the hair shirt ordeal penance of the Redeemer, and I would say, Wayne, love your work.
Yep.
Just
Nothing we say
better.
here is bad about Wayne's work at all. You know, Wayne Reynolds does incredible work, and I think he elevates the script massively. I love the Denizens of the Underhive sequence. I think that's it's another solid way of getting across what's going on with some lovely John Blanche and Mark Gibbons art. Yeah, really cool having that in there. Kind of a shame that there isn't a bit more of it in these, but there we go. And the interview with Debbie Reynolds is really nice. Sorry, Debbie Gallagher is really nice.
No, it's again, it's quite genuine, and it's the fact when she talks about she enjoys writing lines for Clovis. So I can see it's fun. It's kind of he's in that Lobo territory.
Yes.
Right? You're just like I say. I charitably think if Pat Mills's name was not on it, I'd probably not hate it as much.
Yeah. No.
It's the thing. And again, this is the point that kind of we try and hammer home. As part of this is just these are opinions, and they're formed by our baggage and what we bring to it. And I think objectively, if Pat's name wasn't anywhere on this, I'd probably just say this is daft fun.
Yeah.
It's the guy's clearly like a Diet Torquemada, which is what he is. It's just I don't want Diet Torquemada from the fucking guy that created Torquemada.
No, absolutely not. And if in the next time we because we know there's a Pat Mills interview coming, if we kind of look at that and it says, well, actually, I just did the base storyline and Debbie wrote everything, that might change how we view it. We might have to retroactively think about things, but
we can only engage with the material as it is and as we find it, and as I say, informed by our perceptions of it. And let's say is why we try and say this isn't the objective opinion on it. It's just this is where we feel, and more often than not, we will come at it from mostly similar perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Because of our age and the material we read.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, both read far too much British UK comics. That was good for you.
And like I say, as generally speaking, as we say, we're now kind of 20 issues in. Really, is the majority of any criticisms of this entire series has been typically editorial and art. Mm-hmm. Sorry, writing, with a few exceptions on art. Again, and part of that is you've got strips that were clearly designed for colour, not black and white.
Yeah.
And as I say, we've had some great art. Simon Harrison, Colin McNeil, all that. It's all the art has generally been, and even in the strips that we've not enjoyed, Dwarf Lords, which we said it was not the art but the storytelling, and the panel stuff, which is why I say we are hopeful based on the last couple. Is like I'll quite happily give Dwarf Lords another go. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, a peek behind the curtain a little bit here. So issue 14 is about to come out this weekend, as from us recording it. So that's how far ahead we're trying to be. That gap will continue to widen, providing nothing else goes wrong. And one of the things I found really interesting putting that out in the way that I did was that we were really, really good. We were really positive on Dwarf Lords coming to an end. It's like looking forward to it coming back. There's the ability for our minds to change on these things as time goes along. Blood Quest is another one. Blood Quest, I have gone 180 on Blood Quest, 100%. So it's a shame that we're this far through on something like Redeemer and it's not changing. We're this far through on Darkblade. It might change.
We've had a slight glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
But caveated by the fact that the rest of it, and again, it's always coming from the. And even going back to the strips I love, like Shadowfast, that last installment just falls apart.
Oh, it did. It really did.
Again, it's these things. It's like, I want it to be better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what a lot of it comes down to, isn't it? That you want this to be better than it ends up being in a lot of ways. Which is.
And as we said, people, when you engage with material, fans put more into it than the creators ever would.
Yes.
And also see things that aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
Pattern recognition is a problem in humans because that's why conspiracy theories are that. It's like, I think we can see, if nothing but, if 2025 hasn't taught us, there isn't any grand conspiracy other than certain people that get into power are arseholes and will try and do what they want.
Yes.
But there are people who will try and take advantage of it to form their own agenda, but there is no overarching.
No.
Grand.
There's no Illuminati.
No. It just makes people feel more comfortable that things happen for a reason. They don't.
No.
They just happen.
Yeah. Blind chaos is the only true constant. So I think then, with that mortal incense, we shall bring this to an end because this has been a bumper edition.
Yep.
Andy, where can people find you if they want to come and tell you about how much they love the Redeemer?
So Blue Sky is generally the only place that I actively regulate. adtcomics.bsky.social for as long as I can tolerate being there. I am on Instagram as well, adtcomics. Facebook, I won't add you unless I know you. Nothing personal, but Facebook's a cesspool to try and wade through, so I only generally do it for TF Nation, Toy Fu, and a couple of other things. So you hit me up to say IG or bsky. I'm generally fairly sociable. I'll be talking bollocks, to be honest, for the most part. As you should be familiar with by now if you've been sticking around the podcast long enough. Yeah, exactly. Like, where else you hear more classic Billy chat? We chat. So behind the curtains, 15th of October. So as it stands just right now, I am currently doing some stuff for an anthology which will be launching soon called The Great Learning Tree Volume 2. Mm-hmm. I'm doing the first all-new Juggermorph material since 1994.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
a little bit behind because of work and illness. However, I'm now on the mend, so should be all good. Mm-hmm. Prep is ongoing for the TF Nation Minicon in Reading, the 22nd of November. Tickets still on sale. And TFN Minicon in Manchester in March, date to be confirmed. I can't say it just now because we've not publicly announced it yet. No. Although I do know it. And obviously TFN in August. That's the 31st of July to the 2nd of August. A little bit earlier this year, but there's some big sporting event, which means we don't get the hotel in our usual week. Damn you, sports.
Damn you, sports.
It's not football, so I would. Otherwise, I might have actually been more sympathetic to it because obviously I do like the sports ball.
It's golf, isn't it? It's golf.
Oh no! If it was golf, I wouldn't have taken that. I'd have been round there just with. It's like, okay. My thoughts on golf: it's just a waste. It's a waste of a good walk. And see Robin Williams' good routine on golf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, head of a stick. a bit shit in the way, like sand and water. It's like, can we do it once? Fuck no! 18 fucking times. 3 hours. Brilliant. Just I do it a massive disservice. It's fucking hilarious. So that's kind of also potentially trying to see if we can get another TFN gathering in Scotland in the run up to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Frank Toys and I are back and forth just now trying to sort arrangements for that. So hopefully try to do that, and there may be some more TFN ones like that, which in other areas of the country that aren't Scotland, because I won't be there. Idea for those, for anyone to know, is basically it's just a glorified pub meet, but it's just basic. Come along, daft stuff, games, quizzes and stuff, but it's a nice taster. Again, if you've never been to the convention, mini cons are quite good, but if you're not so sure and don't want to make the commitment of travelling, it will be in a place roughly near you. Come to the pub, meet folk, chat.
Yep.
We don't bite. All fairly harmless, mostly harmless.
I always enjoyed a ScotCon.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what the gatherings kind of were, and that was my intent when we kind of were talking about it. It was like, yeah, it's like you're not having to pay a ticket. You're just coming along. There'll be some daft stuff there. You have a good laugh.
Yep. And Ralph usually broke me with the stuff that he found, the colouring pages and the like.
Oh, the Yom Tov. The Yom Tov factor is if basically a colouring competition and psychological assault course. I speak as one of only two-time Yom Tov Factor winners. I occupy rarefied air. Only myself and Kevin Spence have more than one victory at it.
Good times. Good times. As for myself, you can find my personal stuff at adnicol, that's ADNICOL, .weebly.com, where that's all my own personal stuff, where you can get everything from prints to pictures to what else have I got on there? I've got the audiobook version of not Through a Scanner Darkly, the other one, the one Total Recall was made.
Two Androids. No, that's Blade Runner.
Yeah,
we can remember it.
There we go. We can remember it for you wholesale. I have an audiobook version of that up there, which you can download. And also Mean Streets, A History of the 2D Fighter. There's an audiobook for you to download for free. What else? The Fluffnammer. Just wherever you go that isn't TwitX, search for the Fluffnammer. We're there. You know, come join us. We're a good Discord.
Oh, have you abandoned Twitter X now?
Oh, I abandoned TwitX last year. Just be done with it. Which was a shame, because it meant I lost 10 years of having a good account, and such amazing accounts like Tick of the City, who I'd been following for many, many, many years. But
yeah, I didn't even do a backup of my stuff. I just nuked it. I thought, nah, I can't be even engaging with it. It's just no.
Same. I just it wasn't worth the brain space it took up.
No.
With all that being said, then we are going to get out of here. Thank you very much to Mr. Turnbull for joining me today.
Pleasure as always.
And thank you.
And that pleasure.
Thank you very much to you at home for listening, if indeed you still are. Bye-bye.
Farewell.
Fluorescent bars on the workbench, staple dreams in a cardboard box, panel after panel, coffee stains across the plot. Newsprint fingers turning pages, static I'm stuck in my teeth, heroes bleeding in the margins, speech bubbles over concrete, comic book scars on a paper spine, ink blows up in a grayscale sky, all my stains red barcode lines, printed dots on a deadline, comic book scars on a paper spine. Every fold a tiny fracture, every crease a memory. Max pull tight on a Tuesday.